Okay. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Monday Night Gaming. Chris is not here tonight. He actually had something else to do, so I am going to be your stand-in host. With me right now we have Paul Saxberg from Roxley Games.
How's it going?
And we're going to get Gord Hamilton in momentarily.
He's too busy teaching people how to play the game.
He is teaching people how to play Santorini right this minute. So this is a special episode where we're going to be playing Santorini. We're going to do a little mini tournament. So we've got Paul, who is from Roxley, who published the game, and Gord Hamilton, who is the designer. And so, yes, you should put that on.
Bear with us as we get the technology figured out here.
Get everyone mic'd up. So
testing 1, 2, 3.
Turn it on if you want to.
Oh look, I'm sitting in Gord's name and Gord's sitting in my name.
Yeah, that's okay.
We can switch places.
Yes, we can.
You can switch places if you wish.
We have the technology. Oh, actually, we shouldn't take the technology with us.
So are we live right now?
We are live right now. Yep. So.
Okay, great. So you're having a beer?
It's not a beer. It's
Well, I'm just going to say it's a beer, and I'm going to have cough syrup.
Oh, okay. We're good role models for the kids
good
out
role
there.
models, yeah. Great. Okay.
Yes. So we have Gord Hamilton, designer of Santorini,
With a cough.
and he's got a cough, but hopefully his voice will hold up, because the two of them are going to be doing commentary during the course of the tournament. So we're still getting set up and getting players arriving and registered. So I thought what we might actually do to get started is pull a couple people in onto the game table and then just run through a demo game where Gord and Paul can explain the rules, as simple as they are. It won't take very long, but kind of explain the game and show you guys how it works. And then once we've done that, hopefully we'll have everybody registered, and I will figure out pairings, and then we'll get the first actual legit round underway. Depending on the number of players, we'll be playing possibly 3 rounds of Swiss, and then we'll probably do like a cut to a top 4 and do a semi-final and a final. It is casual. It's a tournament format, but it's casual. So they
But we are going to be rip-roaringly critical over.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to tear these people to shreds.
So the other thing we actually will have once the tournament starts is Paul and Gord will have a copy of the game over here, so that they can actually track what's going on in the main game and then show what they would do or why the players are so bad.
That was a terrible move. God, that was so dumb.
And whatever. So
That'll be him talking about my move.
We'll flip between the two. But for now, I'm going to grab 2 people to come in and play our little demo game. So I'll probably grab Gord's son, Kiefer.
I bet
and
Matt
someone
would volunteer for that.
You want to come in and play just a quick demo game so we can show people what's happening? If you grab Kiefer as well. If you want to come in and we're going to do another quick demo game just so that we can show the people at home how the game works. So I am going to switch it over to the game.
At an angle is always up for the angle.
So there we go.
At a kind of.
So I'm going to hand
can see their
over
game on
and let. Just
I
do
guess
regular.
We should, we should try to mimic what they're saying.
Maybe even
Right.
do another without gods one, just to get the very basics down. So I
We're
will
using
hand.
blue and white. Good.
I'll hand over to Gord and Paul to kind of tell you what's going on, and I will check to see what registration is looking like.
Okay, so we're like that.
So it's traditional for the younger player to set up first, so Kiefer's done. They're going to play pretty quickly here. We're going to have to keep up with them, it looks like, since they both know what they're doing. And they're playing without god powers, so this is already kind of interesting.
This is definitely a step ahead for Kiefer. Totally predictable build, that last build, after stepping up. So a problem for white right now.
I see what you mean. Like, I've been playing against the app a lot lately, which is still in development for you in the audience who have questions about that. But it places a very high value, because we've taught it to, on moving up to higher levels. And white, who is Matt, is not managing to do that at the moment.
So this is the first mistake of blue. Instead, blue should have moved down the other pawn to build an even stronger.
We're falling behind here.
Yeah, we are.
They're playing so quickly. And this also, again, is less for anybody who hasn't played yet. This is how quick the game can go.
Yep. That.
You have the pawns, I'll do the blocks.
That's good,
there we go.
because you have the blocks.
We have to cooperate to keep up with them.
Yeah.
Oh, got him stumped now.
So, in this case, blue. Oh, it's white's turn. Okay.
Okay, but Kiefer knows what he's going to do about that. We're falling behind again.
Yeah, sorry, that's my fault.
That white one is up.
And that's a very good move from Kiefer. Stepping down, that's the strongest move of the game yet, is that stepping down move. Not intuitive, but a very difficult move for the poor white piece to have to deal with. White will have to jump down or it will lose the game. And white loses the game.
What?
Quite decisively.
Yeah,
blue will step up.
That's it. That's your
and
checkmate
we'll place
right there.
another one on the other side. So that was a very, very good move from blue. Good. Okay. I am going to ask that board gets twisted just a little bit, because it's quite difficult
Kinda
for
hard
us
for us to
to
see,
the depth. Can you twist the board 5 degrees or? Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's
good.
perfect.
That's.
And also, if you're going to play again, could you play just slightly slower?
Thank you. With the gods. With the gods. Yeah.
Just so used to going.
We're trying to keep up with you over here.
Yeah. Thank you. So I will do all of the movements.
Okay.
You will do all of the builds for all of our games. Is that
Sounds
accurate?
good. It slows down our analysis because we're too busy
Absolutely.
copying them.
Absolutely. Here we go. Professional commentators.
Oh,
ready
they
to.
randomized a pair. Athena versus Demeter. Excellent.
Okay.
Both very powerful.
So Demeter has the power that she may build twice on different spaces around the worker that moved. Athena has the power that once she moves up on a turn, Demeter won't be able to move up on her next turn. So Athena's very powerful even from the base level. So in the early game, Kiefer should be probably close to Demeter, because Demeter in the long term is going to be making a lot of potential over on Demeter's side of the board. So really,
That's my experience of
Athena
Demeter, is if you can
needs
get
to be
left alone in the corner.
careful.
Yeah. Yeah, they're still playing just as fast as before.
Yeah.
They're so eager.
Okay.
Slow down, guys. There we go.
Right. And yeah, I'm supposed to be working here a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Instead,
you
I'm
just do
slacking
just
off. Okay, we
analysis.
need a block right here. Okay, and Kiefer.
And a 2 there. And again, Matt's got his workers down on the ground.
Yes.
Although I think some of those turns were Athena preventing him from moving up.
He's not in a bad position. He can step up. He should have stepped up there, almost certainly. This is a desperate situation now that he's in. He's definitely lost the game because Athena's going to step up, and Matt, you can see he's in no position of no strength at all.
That's rough now, yeah.
Very, very rough.
He's walled down from... That seems to be one of the situations. Once your opponent can get up onto a level 2, they can usually keep you from following up onto a level 2. You have to like work around from a distance or something, and even with Demeter's building power, that's just not going to happen anytime soon here.
Yeah.
I wonder if it actually makes sense for us to even worry about this unless we do it for like.
Kiefer missed a winning opportunity there. He could have won on this space here by building up onto the second level because he had stepped up. It would have prevented. So that was a lost winning. But Kiefer's still strongly in
The people at home can't see the one in front of us.
That's right. That's right. So we do need to be able to switch back and forth here.
Once we've got Greg back, we can do that.
Yeah.
Maybe we can sub in some slower players for these two.
Yeah. That would be a bad idea.
That's looking like it there.
No.
No, right. He can move up there, yeah.
That was a disastrous move by Kiefer.
I didn't see that Matt's worker. Oh, and he's up on the top level now.
Yeah, now he is.
Suddenly it's a game again.
Yep, absolutely. And Matt could have built again there, and he should have built again there.
Yes, he should
That
have.
was
I should have built a third on the opposite side.
Yep.
It's because they're playing so quickly. Like if they stopped and thought about it for a few more seconds, they'd be catching some of these things.
Yeah.
You ever play this for the chess clock?
Never. Okay.
Okay, so Greg has rejoined us, and he's got the pairings for the tournament we're about to be running.
Yeah, so unfortunately we have an odd number of players, which is awkward, but I guess there's not much we can do about that. So someone will get a bye each round. Once these guys are done with the demo, we will get
Shouldn't take too long.
get the first round underway.
They're proving how quickly this game could be played.
Oh, unless we can convince other Gord to join in, and then we might have an even number.
So let's. How is this going here for smoothness, Paul?
How do you mean the game?
Our ability to do this.
We can't.
Why don't we just comment on?
Yeah, I think
that's
and no one at home can see it anyway. So
Yeah. So if you wanted to
put this
swap
camera
that
back over there.
Too difficult.
it's too. The people are just playing so fast.
We can't keep up with them,
we
and if
can't
we
keep
do,
up.
then we can't really comment at the same time.
I guess that's partially down to the 2 players.
So we could have this if there's a specific thing we want to illustrate or something.
Oh, well, we'll never be able to set it up fast enough, so we shouldn't even try.
Okay, so you're getting a second angle of the board at home now.
Oh, and it's like wavy, and you get the feeling like you're in a boat approaching Santorini due to the special effects.
Looking at it from the next island over.
It's tilting.
So lining it up, not so that you get.
So I'm going to make a comment because in this shot you can particularly see that plastic overlay. That's a third-party add-on from a company called Black Thumb Creations based here out of Calgary. If you Google them, they're selling that little clip-on overlay, something like $15-20, and we are officially licensing that from Roxley, although that is a temporary arrangement, just so everybody knows what that is.
That's a better view for almost all the time. It could be, again, you're getting too much of the foreground and you're missing Matt's face. But that's.
Oh!
They also have it tilted. Straight on towards each other.
It's hard to see some of the features of the game when it's directly lined on because of the 5x5 grid and the three-dimensional nature of the game. So we asked them to turn it.
Oh, and instead of them turning it, the camera could just be pushed a little bit further one way or the other, and then they could be straight.
Oh, that's hilarious. Matt had basically won, but
and
Kiefer blocked him with the Theaters of Power.
Just to move up.
Yeah.
And he couldn't even move his other worker because it was down at a lower level.
Now it's trouble. Yep, that is not looking good.
Nicely done, Kiefer. Nicely done.
So very, very dangerous. Athena, very dangerous from the ground level. Okay.
Okay.
I had almost won it until that.
Yeah, you were so close.
You thought you had a winning, a lock.
I thought it was a winning log, but he was down one that I forced him to do before, which I didn't think.
Yeah, pushing Athena down is not always a good move. Just resets her power. So they're about to start the tournament over there. They're
Okay.
basically just waiting for you guys to finish. So Greg, they're done.
New set over here.
Greg is wrangling players. It's a process of herding cats very often, I've noticed in the tournaments he runs here around here.
Alright, so we got.
Oh, did you find another one?
Yes. Okay, so
So we have a good number of players
So,
there.
so hopefully anyone watching got a good idea of how the gameplay is there. We managed to get
We didn't
ourselves.
really have time to explain the rules because they were playing too
You have to
quickly.
pick two people that are good at it.
Should have picked some newbies.
So we got a 10th player. So we now have 10 players, which is good. We've got an even number. So I've got 4 more games set up over there, and I will get the players in for round 1 over here.
And I'm just going to choose some new god powers so that you guys don't see the same gods all the time over on this table.
That is a good plan. Okay.
This is Gord is just so full of joy at events like these that I sometimes disagree with his choices, but I can't actually bring myself to argue with him because he's just having so much fun.
And that's ultimately the goal.
Yes.
So, you know. So yeah, we have 10 players. We'll do 3 rounds of Swiss. We'll do a cut to top 4, and then we'll get a semi-final and a final. As you guys have seen, the game is pretty quick, so this may not be a very long tournament. If we do get done super early, then maybe we'll get Gordon Paul to play or something.
Oh, that probably won't take too long either. The last tournament I ran for this was 16 players, and we got it done 3 rounds round robin and plus a top 8 afterwards, and it still took less than 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah, so it was.
Yeah. So
It's a very fast tournament game.
Okay, so let me go get the players. And
Just for those of you who have got to this point and still don't know how to play, let's just go over briefly how to play this game. So, Paul is going to start. He's going to put...
Paul's going to go over. You can see it right here. No, I'm going to go over to the other.
that is
and
great.
He's going to talk, and I'm going to demonstrate.
Right, and we're going to switch over to the other view. There we go. Okay.
I don't know. Is it still set up on? Oh, it is.
Oh yeah, this is good. This is good.
All right. Talk so I can hear you then.
Okay, so Paul is playing for 2 players. First of all, he plays the 2 brown workers anywhere on the board. Now it's my turn. I'm going to play the 2. Are we going to play with the gods? Yeah, we can play with the gods. Oh, let's play without the gods just to give people a basic feel. Next, it's going to be let's choose the blue because it might stand out better. The blue workers. Okay, here's some blue workers. Got them? Okay. So I'm going to place the blue workers anywhere on the board. Go ahead. Now it's Paul's turn. Paul is going to choose one of his brown workers, move it to any neighboring space, including diagonal, and now he's going to build around the worker that moved. Now it's my turn. I choose one of my workers, any one, and I move it to any neighboring space, including diagonal. Now I build in any neighboring space to the worker that moved. Now it's Paul's turn. Paul builds. Each turn you can move up a maximum of 1 level. So I could move up right now from here to here, but if there was an extra block, building there. Now that's going from the 0 level to the 2 level, and that is illegal. You win the game whenever you get on top of 3 levels. So is this a legal move? No, that's going from the 1st level to the 3rd level, so that's illegal. Let's fast forward in the game and show a potentially winning move. Here is, so there's the position. Paul is about to win this game. You can see that he's about to move from the 2nd level to the 3rd level, but it's my turn. So I am going to move one of my workers, and now I get to build around the worker that moved. Notice that I can build up even onto the 3rd level. So I have done that. I've built a dome, and now Paul nor I can win on that level. We can't build on it. We can't move on it. Each turn you must move and you must build. You can move down 2 levels, but you must move and you must build. Otherwise you lose the game. That rarely happens. Maybe 5% of games someone ends up not being able to move. So those are all of the rules of the game, the basic game. But what makes Santorini so interesting and replayable is that there's many god powers. So the first matchup that we're going to see on this table is going to be Atlas versus Athena. So Atlas is going to be able to place domes at any level, and that totally kills any ability for anyone to move or to build on that level for the rest of the game, on that space. Athena has the ability that if Athena steps up, here she goes, she's stepping up and she's building. Athena has the ability that if she steps up, her opponent cannot step up on his or her next turn. So, that's right. So, Athena, like we just saw, very powerful even on the ground level. Okay, so that is going to be our first competition that we're going to see here. And let's see which guys are going to be up and playing on this board. Can we have 2 players ready to go over here? Okay. So you guys come on over.
So you guys sit down, and then the guys closest to us on that table will need god cards because that is a fifth game that we didn't have set up. So,
I'm going to choose. Can we choose a
Whatever you think is a good match.
Okay, we'll go with Europa and. That's a bit complicated. Let's go for Cleo.
Okay, I'll have to bring out a. It was an expansion.
They're both
guide, so
new.
use the.
Yeah, maybe Terpsichore is.
They're both
easier.
brand new to the game, if that.
I think that
Makes a
this is
difference.
probably really good against new players.
Yeah, 4 new players. Or against.
Against new players.
They are both new, so.
Okay, well, make it Terpsichore versus Pan.
Oh dear.
Okay, where did Pan go?
Pan's not already out there.
No, Pan is not out there.
No, I was arguing against Pan, but Gord really likes Pan.
Yeah, it's,
So we're going
there
to
we go.
match Pan
Terpsichore
with
versus
a
Pan.
powerful god.
That's
Yeah.
just there. Can you pass that? There we go.
Okay, oh yeah, here we go.
Gord and Mohammed, yeah, just directly opposite there.
Okay, and somehow Pan is nowhere to be found.
It's Pan's labyrinth.
Yeah, it's.
He jumped off a table. And
We only get one deck of cards out.
Okay.
So those are all those. We're getting there.
There's Pan.
Okay.
I found a Pan.
Okay.
Alright, so yeah.
Go.
Gord and Mohammed who are on the end there.
So,
Alright.
do you guys know the 2 gods? Yes. And you're happy with the ones that's in front of you? Yes. Okay. Well, go for it.
Alright. So Paul is just getting the other players set up. I will probably go and...
Nice cross formation to begin. So Brown goes into the middle, which means that Brown will have to build so that the other player may step up. Brown, can you just change that building piece to one of the ground level buildings? Yeah, that's perfect.
There you go.
This is going to allow Blue to step up immediately, which is going to be a very strong move for Blue to start the game. Often when playing Atlas, players play with use a lot of domes right away. Usually not a good idea. So this is a nice gentle beginning with Atlas, not using domes right away to seal off places.
So I didn't catch. Did you explain which gods are in use?
Yes,
for this game? You've already done that? Okay.
We've already explained Atlas and we've explained Athena.
Okay, perfect.
So that was Blue made a slight mistake by building in a place that Athena could then step up. So now the game is pretty balanced. I don't know how I would which way I'd call this.
So Atlas can build domes on any level, and Athena. What's Athena's power?
Yeah. So this is a nice strong move to hamper Athena's movement.
So what does Athena do? Just for my benefit?
Athena, if she steps up, then the opponent cannot step up on his or her next turn.
Right.
So Athena is very powerful even from the ground level.
Yeah.
Can we zoom in a bit so that I can see it a little bit? Even just on.
I can put the. If that helps.
No, that's not as good. Just,
yeah, it doesn't have a zoom, unfortunately.
No, but I can do this. Yeah.
There we go.
That helps.
And it's over there as well, so.
Oh, that's true. Don't have it.
That's okay.
Okay, here we go. So, it is now Blue's turn. So Blue should probably head to the opposite corner here. Not definitely. No, not definitely. Still that corner with the dome on it. That corner is actually pretty sweet right now. So that would probably be my preferred move, is to kind of hug close to that Blue and try to sneak up close to the corner, on the corner with the Blue dome already there.
So I was hoping to have Twitch chat up and running, but it seems to not be working properly. But if I quickly bring this up, let's see if I can get that to work. Where is it?
Okay.
Thinking going on.
Yeah.
Not everyone is as speedy as Kiefer.
Yeah, those two are really quite speedy.
I guess that's the beauty of the game. Some players play fast, some players think a little bit more about it. I would probably think a little more about it, but I don't think it would help me.
So it's Blue's turn here.
We don't have anything indicating it, but brown is Eric, who is on the right of the screen. Blue is Alex on the left, who has got Atlas. He's really thinking hard. Paul is returning.
How's it looking over there?
Alex is thinking.
We got our round one. Scylla versus Cronus is shaping up to be a an interesting matchup over there.
Okay, I've never played that matchup. So we should have a time limit of something here, Alex.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, after
Would it help if I went
After-
over and mocked the slow player? Because I could do that.
I thought he might have just like frozen and needed rebooting. Or
Oh,
something.
okay.
But he's made his move. Thought long and hard.
You probably have a chess clock somewhere in the store, right? I know you have timers, sand timers downstairs.
We do. That's actually a second level piece as well.
okay.
There are
Oh, Atlas versus.
There we go.
Who is that? Athena?
So this is becoming dangerous, but not too dangerous here. There's interesting potential here. Yeah, if Atlas could step up now, it would be very dangerous for Athena. But Atlas can't step up because Athena just stepped up. So Blue cannot jump into that empty space.
Oh, this is the opposite of our previous problem. We would have no trouble at all tracking this one.
Yeah, this would be. Oh, man.
we asked for slower players and we got them. Oh, it looks like Cronus won.
Cronus got it.
I
Okay.
see 5 complete towers on that table.
Okay. How about this? So you choose some. You choose some too.
Oh, you want me to set up a match?
Yeah.
I would love to set up a match. I have some favorites here.
Yeah.
Those are all the promo guys. So I can do
Yeah.
that.
Hey.
And then I guess at some point, well, I'll have to wait for at least another match to finish because Greg can't play those two against each other again.
So some of the others were asking if it was just a single game or a best of 3. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I think in terms of Swiss, it's probably best if we do
Singles,
game.
yeah.
If it's going too quickly, you can always just throw another round in, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have one result. Carl beat Matt in that interesting game over there.
I'm not sure what to suggest here. We've got 2 Eroses in this pile, so we've already started mixing gods up.
Great.
Do they have numbers on the bottom of the
They
cards?
do, yeah. We're
so-
just going to have to sort them out at the end,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
This happens to me at every convention.
Yeah.
I think the problem for me is the gods that I like tend to result in longer games.
Yeah, I don't like that. I
Yeah.
like, especially for tournaments. I like snappy play, like we're seeing here.
Right.
Oh, and we have a very nasty looking,
Oh, that's a problem.
very
Yep.
nasty looking situation developing here. Brian having some nasty potential. Yeah.
I'm a relative newcomer, but
So that's
I think Blue's in trouble.
Yeah, that is Brown is Athena. So you can see that if Blue steps away, the problem is if Blue does not step away from that double tower, that
Athena can
there's going to
just
be a win
But
over
if
there.
Blue does
But if
step away, Brown can just step in.
Step in and
Yeah.
messes up. So there's no way out of this situation for Blue.
It's basically
for
a
Atlas.
lock, yeah.
Yep.
So
No.
the problem is that blue is too close. Remember, you have to move first, and then you have to build. So this is the problem
why
that blue's facing right now.
Hermes is slightly better than he looks because he's allowed to refuse to move.
That's right. That's exactly right. Urania is too complex to describe.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh,
Online?
give it to an-
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I
would say these are
and-
some of my favorites here.
There we go.
Dionysus is not so much
That
as
is
one of my
that.
favorites. It's just that everybody loves him whenever I first explain him.
I love it. I
So,
love it.
you're shooting down Urania. Is there a good matchup in here? Do you think?
Oh, all of them.
Any of them?
I think any of them.
Okay, so we have a winner, Eric.
Is this?
Wins
Okay.
our live game. Okay.
All right. I'm thinking these two.
Yeah, we are doing Swiss, and then we'll do a cut to a top 4 after 3 or maybe 4 rounds. Right now we have 10 players. I was going to do 3 rounds. Since it's so fast, we may actually do 4. And then cut
I'm
to
going to
top
go set
4.
some people up with.
Yeah, if you can set up
Karen versus
maybe
Aphrodite.
Dionysus and Minotaur here. Could we do that here?
Yeah, so we'll get some different gods on the live game each time. So we do have 3 other games still in progress, but I don't anticipate them being too much longer.
So let me describe to you what Dionysus does. Greg, would you like to just go over there and do you know Dionysus and Minotaur? Okay, so Dionysus, whenever Dionysus builds a dome, so Dionysus is just about to build it, builds a dome, Dionysus gets to move for the other player. The other player's got drunk, so Dionysus gets to move for the other player. Now, whenever the other player's on the ground level, that's not so interesting, but you could imagine the other player being in a really good position, maybe on the 2nd level, and suddenly you get to move for Dionysus. Well, you can make a pretty nasty move and then a pretty nasty build. And then it's that player's turn again. So they don't actually miss their turn. Dionysus just gets an extra turn right away. So that's, and if Dionysus happens to build another dome while playing for that other player, well, then there's another play that happens with Dionysus. So a really fun power. Minotaur has a very different power. Minotaur gets to move. So if blue is the Minotaur, blue can move into the space of the other player if that player can be pushed straight back. You can't move straight back if it's off the game board, so that's not acceptable. It's also not acceptable to move into domes. So that is not an acceptable move because that pushes the other player into a dome. However, you could push the other player up any number of levels, even onto the 3rd level. Now this you might not want to do very often, but you could do it if you wanted. Remember, to win this game, you must move up on your turn to the 3rd level. So being pushed up on your opponent's turn does not count as a win. That player, that white, now will have to move down and move up again in order to win. So a nasty little unusual strategy that you might adopt as Minotaur. Okay, let's see who we're going to get for this next round here of Dionysus versus Minotaur. We've got 3 games completed already. We're waiting for 2 others in this introductory round.
These 2 are still going. I circled Hussein as the winner on that one.
So some of my other favorite gods whenever we are waiting for other players to show up here. Aeolus is a pretty cool, nasty god. Here he is, and Aeolus, if you're playing him, you get to choose the wind direction at the end of your turn, and nobody can move in that direction until the end of your next turn, including you. So you have to be careful of which wind direction you choose. But this helps you even on the opposite side of the board. If a player is about to win by moving in a certain direction, well, you just stop them. So a very, very nice defensive and offensive god, Aeolus.
Yeah, that seems pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Eros, definitely another favorite. With Eros, you start on opposite edges of the board, and you win if you can get both of your workers together on the first level. So they have to be neighboring and on the first level, and that's another way that you have to win. You can win in the normal way by getting on top of the third level. So this is an extra way to win. So your opponents have to try to keep you apart. And if they let you together, they have to make sure that you're not together on the first level. Oh, I'm just getting through all the gods here. Urania. You can imagine that this board gets tiled. So you take that board and you copy it, and you copy it, and you copy it, and you copy it. And on each board, you have your two workers on every single board. And if you move off one board, well, then you're moving off all the boards. This is the one that you have to probably see it. We might play a game of this later, but I'll have to explain it carefully because it's a little bit confusing. For example, from one corner, you can move to any of the other corners with Urania. This is one that I hope to see later today. Hades. Hades, very difficult for beginner players to play against Hades. Hades' ability is that the opponent can never step down. So one really good way to win with Hades is just to let the opponent climb as far as they want, not letting them win the game, of course, but letting them climb as far as they want, and then just making them stuck up there. And you remember, you must move and you must build on every turn. So if you end up getting stuck on a high level and not being able to move, you've lost the game. So Hades is nasty to play against because most beginner players step up too early when playing against Hades.
Yeah, that one seems hard.
The Grae, great goddess to begin with. These are actually three old hags, and you play with three workers, not just two. You play with three workers, and after you move, you can build beside any one of your three. So, very, very nice. Easy one for beginner players to start with. This is in the expansion pack, the Golden Fleece expansion, and that's because it does need an extra worker. But this is a great god to begin with if you're looking for you want to maybe play without a god yourself against a newbie. This is a great way to start. Great. Now let's go to a hard god to play against and to play. Harpies, you get to move. Your opponent is like they're playing on an ice skating rink. So as soon as they move in a direction, they keep on going until they bump into something higher than themselves. So they can drop down as far as they like. That's no problem. But they can't move up after they start moving. So you could move up on your first move, but then you keep on going. So you end up zipping from one side of the board to the other. If you're playing Harpies, you just move normally. So playing against Harpies, you're the one that's skating around, falling off things that are tall. So interesting to play against, difficult to play against.
So if you're next to a level 1 and you're on the ground, and you stepped up onto it, you would then go
You
past
just keep
it
on
and
going.
drop and hit
Yep.
it. Okay.
So we could imagine a situation like this in the middle of the board. This would be a nightmare if you're playing against
against harpies.
Against harpies. So if you got up here, let's say that harpies are back here. So you step up here. You can't move into the space of another worker. So you do stop. But then your next turn, you try to move up here. Well, you just keep on going. You fall down here and you move all the way to the other side. So it's nasty, very nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're about to get one more victory over there, I think.
Okay.
Han's got Terpsichore cornered.
Okay.
And that last one, though, that's the gray against Aeolus. Aeolus has been very, very good with the blocking power. So it may still have a few turns left before.
Okay. And who is playing that?
The far, very far.
That's Gary.
I'm not sure of people's names. The
Yeah,
guy
Gary
is
and
Aeolus
Kiefer.
Gary.
in the blue,
Yeah.
and then his opponent is
Right.
And then
Gary and Kiefer.
on this end, yeah, it's Gordon Mohammed.
How do I know if that's Kiefer yet? You think I know Kiefer? No wonder he's playing well.
And he's playing Aeolus, or he's playing
Kiefer is playing
Terpsichore?
Aeolus.
Okay.
Terpsichore is the one closer to the Kiefer. So bad
Right.
people.
Right.
We're just going through some of the god
yeah, we're just going
powers.
through. Now, my favorite god of all, goddess, is Hecate. Hecate. Absolutely my favorite, hands down. And the reason is that this is no longer a pure strategy game whenever you play with Hecate. You play with a screen in front of you. You make all of your moves without your opponent seeing where you're moving. You make normal moves, so you have to look at the board, you have to see what moves are possible. You make that move, then you build on the real board. So your opponents have to deduce where might you be based on where the builds happen. If your opponent, on their move, tries to move on top of you, you stop them. You say, you've lost the rest of your turn, I am where you attempted to move. So you gain a little bit of information. You know where one of Hecate's pieces are, but you've lost your turn. Similarly, if you move and then you try to build on top of Hecate, then you lose your build. You still get to make your move, but you've lost your build. Beautiful, beautiful, fun goddess. So I have had more fun with this than any other two gods put together.
Yeah, that one we actually, not long after the game came out, or actually it was before the game came out, Paul had an advanced copy and we did a stream and a couple of people came and played some demo games, and I remember Hecate being one of the ones we played with, and it was very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we advertise Santorini as a pure strategy game, but it is not only a pure strategy game. There are, this is another god, Taiki, who has luck involved. With this god, you get to shuffle up 7 gods with no power plus a Taiki, and you shuffle them up, you turn them face down, you reveal them at the end of your turn, and if you reveal the Taiki card, you get a bonus turn. And once that happens, you shuffle them all up again. So you're guaranteed to get a bonus turn at least once every 8 moves. But on average, it's going to happen a lot more frequently than that. So this is again in a direction away from pure strategy, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And that's a promo which won't be in your regular copy of the game.
That's
but, I believe you can buy them from Roxley.
Yeah. Actually, let's go through another one. Another one of my favorites for having hidden information, so again, not a pure strategy game, is Tartarus. In Tartarus, you're placing your workers first, then your opponent places their workers, and then you place the pit. And anyone who goes on the pit immediately loses the game. But you know where it is as Tartarus. It's a secret placement. So you know where that pit is. Your opponent doesn't. But you have to move first. So if your opponent is smart, they are going to move into the space that you first vacate. So it's not as, like people, whenever they first read about this, they think it's going to be extremely chaotic and, oh, you just win kind of randomly. That is not the optimal way to play against Tartarus. The optimal way to play against Tartarus is only to move into the spaces that you know are not the pit, because someone, either you or your opponent, has been in there before. So it's actually one of the gods that we've had most critiques on, but then people play it and they go, oh, actually this is kind of cool. So nice god. Let's look at another one of my favorite goddesses, Persephone. Hades, that god had the ability that if you are playing against Hades, that you cannot step down. Persephone is kind of the opposite, the queen of the underworld. Persephone has the ability so that if your opponent can step up, they must step up. And that comes before all of their powers. So if they have a choice in their power, I could do this, or I could, well, you must step up if you can on your turn. So, of course, normally stepping up is a really good thing, but Persephone can play around with that and force you to step up in a direction you don't want to go. So, nasty goddess. Not super strong, but super interesting to play against. Okay, how close are we to getting two other players in here?
Yeah, we've got 4 of the others done. We're just waiting on the one final game. It is 2 new players, so I guess it's not too surprising that it's going a little bit longer, but that's
So
okay.
it hasn't happened yet. They don't know that it's over, but it's going to be over
Okay.
very shortly.
Okay.
Gordon is going to defeat Muhammad.
Okay, so
Okay.
Paul,
I don't think either of them knows that yet.
but you guys heard it here first.
Yes.
You guys know it's
The
over.
prediction. Yes. So we are finished the first round.
Okay, so in that case, I will figure out who is going to play who in the next round.
And Kiefer, could you, let's just see.
That I beat here. That again.
Okay.
I think I had Iolaus.
Yeah. Yep. Would you like to just take the dog out for a walk?
Sorry. So it's over. Gordon won.
Okay.
I can't see in here, right?
You can't bring Misty inside. No.
Where am I?
Just 2 minutes, Kiefer.
Just to pee.
Yeah. Gary, would you mind just accompanying my son outside? Just he's going to just walk the dog for 2 minutes. Can you just walk my dog with my son for just 2 minutes? I don't want him just wandering around by himself.
Fair enough, that makes sense.
Thank you very much.
So your suggestion of the Grey versus Aeolus apparently produced an extremely good game. And at one point, Kiefer would have won, except that he had to have the wind blocking him from his own ascension to prevent the Grey from winning.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
So Kiefer ended up winning in the end, but it was apparently a very back and forth game.
Okay. So both of those two are the strongest players here, maybe. So
Could very well be.
yeah.
So Kiefer won, so he'll be matched against another winner.
Right. Actually, why am I saying that? I have no idea of the other player's strength.
Well, apparently
but
they
Gary-
gave each other a very good game.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, Paul, what are your 3 favorite gods? I've already ranted and raved about Hecate.
you disallowed my favorite already. My favorite god is Urania.
Okay, I did try to explain Urania.
Urania is very, very simple.
Yeah, I did try. So
Yeah? You've already done that?
yeah, I already tried.
Yeah, this is honestly my favorite.
Really, that's great. Great. And pretty evenly.
I play strategy games. You've heard the term donkey space?
No.
Donkey space is a good analogy is in chess.
Oh, you should actually wear this.
Oh yeah, I guess I should, eh? Thank you. If you make a couple of bizarre moves in chess, or in poker is another one, there's that one guy at the poker table who doesn't know what he's doing and throws all the professionals off because he's making strange bets, right? He's in donkey space. And so you can do that. I do that in chess. I'll make a few weird moves, and all the people I'm playing against who have experience, they know 17 moves into the game, this is the so-and-so opening, and after at move 17, I have a pawn advantage on this side of the board. Well, nobody knows what happens when I make a couple of weird moves. It throws the game into improvisation territory. And I'm better at improv than I am at memorizing books of strategy.
Right.
So, why did I come on to donkey space?
So donkey space is good for Santorini,
it's
generally.
particularly good for Urania because this is a very creative thinking god. And I find that a lot of sort of straight-laced mainstream thinkers don't tend to think in terms of things jumping off and on different corners of the board. It seems that some people can grasp it and some people can't. And so I find that I'm very easily able to catch people by surprise with moves that, by Urania that a computer program would probably be able to predict.
Right. Good. Great. Thank you. Yes. The key.
Oh, I need to go explain to God. I'll be right back.
Okay. And Greg, I should get this video off me and on to the next game here. Good. So this is Minotaur versus Dionysus.
Oh. Excellent.
And can we play with the brown pieces? I think they're just going to show up a bit better. Yeah, I think they'll just show up a bit better.
So brown is the Minotaur and
Brown is the Minotaur.
blue Dionysus. Yeah, I played against the Minotaur and got pushed around a lot.
Yes. It's a good strategy if you're Dionysus to try to make if you're playing against Minotaur, it's generally a good strategy to try to make tall domes in the middle of the play area, because that is difficult for you to
block some of those avenues.
It blocks off
getting
some of
pushed
the
around.
tendencies, yeah. And because you're playing Dionysus, you've got extra reason to build those extra tall domes.
Yeah. So I think we got a good mix of experienced and new players today.
Yeah,
I think there were at least 4 people who had never played before.
Right.
And actually, I believe Hussein had not played before.
So
He won his first round.
playing Dionysus is Hussein.
So Hussein is
Oh,
playing
Hussein
Minotaur,
is playing Minotaur, and
and then Carl
is playing
Dionysus.
So almost certainly what Carl should be doing here is trying to make that 2-tower a 3-tower. That's absolutely critical. And if you're a Minotaur, you want to be getting on top of that 2-tower as fast as you can.
Yeah.
So this is really there's been a lot of lost opportunities in the game so far, because this is a critical move. Whoever, either the Minotaur gets up there or that gets onto the 3rd level. And the reason that the 3rd level is so dangerous is because, of course, Dionysus is just lurking in the wings then to make it to take control.
So opted to push.
Yep. So let's see. Yeah, this is a very strong move from Dionysus, even if Dionysus gets...
we have a win already on one of the rounds there.
Wow. That was a very fast one.
Yeah, these 5-minute clinchers. So that was Gary versus
Gary and Matt.
Gary and Matt. Okay.
Gary wins.
Gary wins.
Justice defeats Athena.
All right. I believe did you say earlier on that Matt was the was an experienced player that you had?
He is an experienced player. He's very
Okay.
competitive.
But
And he did very, very well at a couple of other events I've seen, but he's not demonstrating that today.
but also that Gary won one of the previous
Gary
Oh,
won,
that's right. Gary
won
won-
Falcon.
He won
Yeah.
the Falcon
Yeah,
tournament.
so
yes.
that was a game of two pretty experienced players
Yeah.
over very quickly.
So what do we have going on here? It's Minotaur's turn.
One of his
Yeah.
workers and build.
Yes. No one can win on that turn. Don't get to use his power. If you build another dome, you do get to take another turn using his worker. You can change it. Yeah.
Even with my worker.
Yes. Yes.
Just take all the turns.
I know.
So Minotaur,
Yeah.
what's Minotaur want to do here? Minotaur probably wants to dome that. So probably wants to just dome that. There's nothing that Dionysus can do nastily, so I would just step away. That wasn't the correct move. It needs to go straight back.
Would go.
Oh, sorry. It was like that? Okay, yeah. That was my fault from the bleachers.
Hard to tell the angle
Yeah,
sometimes.
missed the angle.
Yeah.
Watching for like, I know like this round, but next round,
Now he's got to decide where to build.
so because I'm double building and I set these
Where was it?
I think he's just enjoying pushing
Yeah.
Dionysus around.
So you can see that
As soon as I was on the other
Blue wants to... being on the edge is good for Dionysus here because it's more difficult to be pushed around if you're on the edge. So
Right.
right now, neither of the blue pieces can be pushed. So this is a strength. So Dionysus just needs to, or the Minotaur needs to figure out, okay, how am I going to get to a position where I'm strong enough to push, and how do I get into a position where there's not the potential of Dionysus to cap one of those
Yeah.
towers. At the moment, it's not so important, but
Yeah.
later on in the game, capping those towers with a dome is going to be absolutely brutal. So probably best to just get rid of that potential now rather than later. Even right now, it's getting pretty brutal, the capping of that tower.
Yeah, actually. Oh, interesting. I thought I saw the end coming, but actually,
Yeah, there's no quick fix here. This is a very even match right now. Couldn't call it at all.
yeah, I wish we could have had a separation so that the commentary was away from the table.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm too deaf to hear it.
Yeah, that's good.
unfortunately,
Yeah, we could just blast them with music, or you could sing to them, Greg, and I could just focus. Here, take your microphone off and sing to them, and then I could just give the commentary.
make them wear headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. This is.
There you go.
So this looks really good for the Minotaur right now. especially because in the upper right of your screen we have that potentially winning opportunity that's already a second level that can easily become a third level. And yeah, so it's very, very dangerous right now for Dionysus. Dionysus has to get close to that upper right-hand corner to stop that win.
Yeah. So this is Santorini.
Yeah, for those of you who tuned in and have no idea what the heck this is, yeah, this is the game Santorini. Each turn you must choose one of your 2 workers. You must move that worker. You can move up a maximum of 1 level. You must move a worker, and then you must build around the worker that you moved. So this is a, we're within 2 turns of winning the game here.
Kiefer won.
Okay.
And this is a win for the Minotaur.
Yeah. As you were saying, Dionysus needed to get close to that
Yeah.
corner, but couldn't really do it.
For a while, I forgot that I can have it. So I was kind of like, oh man, when's he going to do it? When's he gonna do it?
Because you sat down in front of it, assumed it was yours.
Yeah, so to win, to win, you step up onto the 3rd level, like Hussein just did, as a Minotaur for the win.
Right.
He's pretty mean.
Yeah, well, so's this. I think if I could figure out how to use it better.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
But yeah,
We'll
if you don't
try
have the opportunity to use it, then it's,
I know. I was
Zeus
keeping-
versus
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Ross.
Hoping I
on the next one.
Over here.
Okay, I'll put those over. We can explain what they do.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hussein won. We have 10 players in the tournament. This was round 2. But I am gonna switch some gods over, and then Gord can explain what these 2 do, and that's what we'll have on the table for round 3.
Right. Okay, and I'm just choosing some other god combinations here. Well, I'm going to choose 2 gods that affect the other person. So, Limas is the goddess of famine, and I'm going to pair her up with Hades. So I've already explained Hades. You cannot move down on your turn. Limas, you cannot build beside Limas if you're the opponent. One exception is you can build domes beside Limas, but nothing else. So this is these 2 are very, very nasty combinations. Not recommended for beginners. So we're going to hold off until we have 2 more experienced players. We have 4 players in this tournament who have never played Santorini before tonight, and we've got 6 who have played with some degree of regularity. So we'll save those for a matchup coming up that between 2 players who are experienced. Let's see what else we're going to choose. I'm going to choose Artemis. Artemis, a very easy god to understand. You get to move twice. You cannot move back to the space that you started from. And it's optional. You could choose just to move once. And against... who would I like to play against? I'm going to play... I think I'm going to play... Let's see... maybe Poseidon. We haven't had a Poseidon game yet. So, Poseidon... if the worker that you don't move on your turn is on the ground level, then you can get 3 extra builds at the end of your turn around the worker that did not move. Okay? So this is the strongest builder of all the gods. But you're penalized that you have to be on the ground level in order to use that ability. So very interesting. And you can't have moved in order to use those extra three builds. So, interesting god again. So I'm gonna pair up these. I've never actually played this pair, which is yeah, that's interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this matchup works. And what else? I'm going to have a Medusa. Medusa, if you are higher than your opponent at the end of your turn and neighboring, that opponent turns to stone. That worker is permanently removed from the game. Totally nasty, and yet you'd be surprised that it's balanced. So we're going to play that against... let's play against Athena. We've already seen Athena play, so this is interesting. You've got extra incentive for Athena to move up. Normally Athena very, very strong from the ground level. But Medusa is going to throw a spanner in that because being on the ground level is extremely dangerous now. So there, we're going to try that combo. Okay, let's see if we can get other players. Are there other players about ready to, or we've still got a ways to go?
Got 2 games going on right now.
2 games going on. Okay.
So, hard to say how long they'll be. So you've got parent. You've got.
Yeah, I can keep on
1,
going.
2, 3.
I've got 3.
Are these ones that you're going to have on the streamed game?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily,
These can
okay.
also go out there.
Okay.
Yep. Let me show you another one of my favorite goddesses. Cleo, this is the Muse of History. And her first 3 builds that she makes in the game, she gets to add a little marker on top. And that marker means that whenever the opponent looks at those builds, at those levels, all that the opponent sees are domes. So the opponent can't move on them, the opponent can't build on them, the opponent can do nothing to them. But Cleo can walk on them, she can build on them, but then they lose their power if she builds on them. So usually the best strategy for Cleo is to leave those 3 for only her to walk on, and the opponent doesn't even get to walk on them. So really, really nice, strong power, not a beginner power. So beginners sometimes fall into the mistake of building and destroying their own power. So not a beginner power, but a very, very beautiful power for players who are experienced. So again, I'm going to set that over onto into a pile that I'm going to reserve for people a little bit more with more ability to think their way through. And against her, I wonder. Hermes seems really interesting. I've never played that combo, so I'm going to play Hermes. Hermes can move as long as Hermes promises not to step up or down during his turn. Hermes can move as much as he wants with both workers, even 0. So Hermes has the unique ability that Hermes can just stay where he is if he wants. But if he promises not to step up or down, he can move and keep on moving and keep on moving and keep on moving. Regular moves as much as Hermes wants. At the end of movement, you get to build beside either worker. So I think that's going to be a really interesting matchup against Cleo, because Cleo has some very, very nice ability to segment off part of the board and then do a really nice quick win over on one side. But Hermes is going to make that strategy very difficult for Cleo. So it'll be interesting to me how those 2 match up.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. What else are we going to do?
Did you want to show the powers that we're going to have on the next table and explain how they work?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will put the camera back over there and I'll jump over.
And let's just remove those white workers so that no one else gets confused about. Definitely easier to see the brown ones. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to explain Eros. You're starting on opposite edges of the board, like Brown is doing right now. Now it is Eros can win in the normal way by getting on top of the third level, but Eros can also win by having both workers neighboring and on the first level. So this is another winning position for Eros. So Eros is going to be playing against Zeus. So Zeus is going to have to make sure that Eros doesn't get into that loving relationship. Okay, Zeus's power is that Zeus can move, and after moving can build not just in the spaces around Zeus, but also right underneath himself. So that is an acceptable build. Now, you might think, oh, this is overpowered. What happens if I was on the first level there and I step up onto the second level and now I build underneath? Have I won? The answer is you have not won. You must step up on your turn in order to win the game. You cannot build up on your turn in order to win the game. So, Zeus is on the third level, but in order to win the game, Zeus will have to step down and then step up again onto the third level. It is only stepping up that allows you to win the game, not building up to the third level. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. Both players have got very different and quick possibilities to win the game. Zeus by getting up pretty darn quickly, then having to step down and step up again. And Eros being able to have two ways of winning. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. I've never seen this matchup before, so I'm keen. Yeah. So I'll give you another. This is a god that I don't use a lot in tournaments. Not because it's not a good god, not because it's not an interesting god, but because it leads to long games. If you're playing against Hypnos, if you have one worker that's higher than your other workers, that worker sleeps. It can't move, it can't build, it just sleeps. So it's very irritating to play against. You think you're winning, you've got one worker up to the second level, your other worker's on the first level. Well, your second level worker just falls asleep. So now you have to work on getting your other worker up to the second level. As soon as there's two workers on the highest level, well, then you can move either one. Then you've got a normal move. But as long as only one worker is on the highest level, then you've got a problem because that highest worker just falls asleep. Yeah. So maybe we might play a game with Hypnos, but I think not.
I think our remaining two games are still going to be going for quite some time. We have Scylla versus Aeolus on the end there, and Aeolus again is making very, very good use of the blocking power. And over here we have Aphrodite versus Charon, and neither of them seems to be able to get up off the ground for any length of time.
Okay. We can change around any of these. Do you like the Aeolus?
I've been changing them every round.
You have been, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a god I also don't play with a lot.
Oh, that's another favorite of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. It tends to lead to longer games, which is, but not as much as Hypnos. So I'm very happy if we want to experiment with playing Nemesis. So do you want to explain Nemesis, Paul?
Certainly. So basically,
let's put on your mic.
Yes, I don't know if anyone can hear anything I've said so far. Nemesis, as long as you are still adjacent to your opponent, you effectively do not have a power. But if at the end of your turn you are not adjacent to your opponent, you have the option of trading places with them completely. So this forces your opponent to always keep in the back of their mind, if they set up a guaranteed win scenario, they have to keep near you because you could just walk into their win and steal it from them.
Oh man,
very evil. Yeah. So let's play with this tonight. It doesn't lengthen games too much.
I can throw Nemesis out there. we're having a lot of complaints about Pan, so maybe I'll bring
Okay, we'll
Nemesis
take
in
that.
place of Pan.
Okay, fair enough.
Nemesis, you have to watch because out of all the gods, she has the most bans, the most gods that are incompatible or bad matchups.
Yeah.
So,
So Pan, by the way, it's only beginner players who think that Pan is overpowered. Once you become an experienced player, Pan is a just run-of-the-mill god. Definitely not more powerful than most.
a lot of people have pointed out that Pan is effectively a hero because he has a power that's only usable once per game.
Yeah. But beginners have a lot of issues with Pan because they think, oh, getting up to the second level, not that important. Well, for most gods, getting up to the second level is important. For Pan, it's exceedingly important. So you just have to be not even thinking about getting on top of the third level. You have to be stopping your opponent getting up onto the second level. You should be doing that anyway, even for most of these gods. Getting up onto the first level, no big deal. Getting on top of the second level, that's a big deal. You should be really careful letting your opponent get on top of the second level.
Yeah, once they're up there, then your main, it's going to be much harder to fight a defensive battle in terms of trying to avoid giving him somewhere to land. You can just pave the island with level 1s, but he's going to be able to move faster than you can build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played against Pan, and it was definitely an interesting, very defensive game where I'm just always, how do I stop them getting to the second level?
Yeah.
I think I actually won that game, so it's
I'm gonna go check on our players
definitely
again.
possible.
So let's see what other matchups. Oh, maybe we should have a Taiki matchup. So I have never seen this in competition because I just saw this card tonight for the first time. Now I've played with Taiki, I've play tested her. I think she's nicely balanced. But I didn't actually hold a card in my hand and look at it before tonight. So I think we should play with her. So I've already explained her ability. About once every 4.5 moves, you're going to get an extra move. So that's a nice ability. Maybe I'll play. Well, this would be an advanced one. There's no need to go advanced. This is actually a very nice starter god too. Getting a bonus turn, very easy to understand, and it brings randomness into the game. So this is a nice. Let's see, what would it be? Okay, I'm going to say we'll experiment with Hephaestus versus Taiki. So Hephaestus has the ability that on your build, you can build a second building on top of your first. That you would compare that to something like Demeter. Demeter, you get to build twice, and you can build anywhere around the worker that moved, except you can't build on the same. So these two are very, very synergistic. This one, you can build twice, but it must be on top of the previous build. This one, it must not be on top of the previous build. Which one do you think would be more powerful if we just left it like this? Surprisingly, Hephaestus would be more powerful if we just left it like this. So we added a little bit extra. The second build cannot be a dome. So Hephaestus is really strong in the beginning of the game, but if she's building the third level on her turn, she can't then build a dome on top of it. So an interesting matchup. I've never played it, so I'm looking forward to this matchup. Okay.
All right.
Are we ready for? We're still going.
Still
going.
waiting.
Okay.
On those guys.
I know one that I'm going to. I'm going to get really irritating.
Did you have your heart set on this matchup, or do you want to put Nemesis in one of these?
We've already explained that,
Okay.
so I think that's going to be interesting.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll put her out here.
I had a specific idea here. I wanted to choose one of my favorite wizards of the of ancient Greece. Where are we here?
It's not one of the ones
Okay.
out there already.
I don't think so. I don't think. Okay. Oh, we still have some. Oh, yeah. There's some. Okay. Circe. So, Circe's got a very interesting ability, and that is that she gets to steal the opponent's ability if the opponent is not neighboring itself. So, you know what? I think I should really mess with Paul. I've never tried Pan with Circe, but this is going to be very difficult for Pan. I'm going to bounce this off Paul before I try this. So, Paul is just coming back here, and he's going to either veto this or not. Paul, what do you think? Have you ever played Circe against Pan?
I have not. Actually, I've played Circe very, very little, and I'm with you that that's an interesting match.
This is an interesting matchup.
Let's put it out.
Yeah.
We'll put it out.
Okay. So, I didn't quite explain Circe. So, if the opponent's pieces are neighboring, then Circe has no power. But if the opponent's pieces are separate, then the opponent has no power and Circe gets the opponent's power. So as soon as the opponent puts their pieces together again, Circe's out of luck. So yeah, I'm really interested how this is going to pan out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we brought Gordon.
Yeah.
No, I think that actually will be a really interesting one. Dan wins. All right, so we're just waiting on one more result now.
Okay.
But yeah, that way, anyone who's thinking Pan is overpowered, well, if they don't stay together, then Circe is like,
Going to be Pan.
hey, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm on level 2, thank you.
That'd be cool. Okay. Next, I'm going to showcase Triton. So, Triton is one of the best movers in the game. On your turn, you move, and if your move ends in a perimeter space, then you can move again. And if that move ends in a perimeter space, you can move again. So you can keep on moving that worker as much as you want, as long as that move is in the perimeter space. You can stop anytime you want, as long as at any time. You must stop if you move into a central place. So all moves are regular on the perimeter. So I like Triton. One of the reasons I like Triton so much is because the board looks very, very different playing against Triton than playing against any other god. I could nearly come up to two experts, one of whom would be playing Triton. I could nearly come up to that game board, and without seeing that they were using Triton, I could nearly predict, I think, that Triton is one of the gods in this game. Because what ends up happening is, because the movement's so strong, one player really tries, the player playing against Triton really tries to block that movement around the outside by building either a tower or by putting up some obstacle around two opposite edges, typically. So very, very interesting, different type of game that you end up with.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to describe Hera now. Hera, another god I'm not going to use, not because I don't love playing with her, I really do, but because the games end up to be a little bit longer. Hera's ability, Goddess of Marriage, is that in order to win, your opponent must be in one of the central 9 spaces. So you don't win, even if you're on the 3rd level. Even if you step up onto the 3rd level on the perimeter, you don't win. So you can be on the 3rd level, so what? You must win on one of the central 9 spaces of the board. So I really like this. One of the things I'm most happy about this goddess is that the recommendation for this god power comes from Indonesia. So this was during the Kickstarter, and I had never thought of this god power, and really one of my favorite god powers that come out of the Kickstarter campaign. Okay, let's see. I could keep on going here for quite a while. So I'm going to describe Europa and Talus. So at the end of your turn as Europa, you get to place near to the worker that moved, you get to place Talus, who looks like a dome to the opposition, and to you looks like a dome, except you, on your turn, have the option of moving Talus or the option of leaving Talus where he was on the previous turn. So it's kind of like a movable dome that you're in control of. So it's a very interesting power to play. Of all the gods here, this is maybe the goddess that I've played least. Again, this came out of the Kickstarter campaign. Simon, one of the really awesome contributors to this Kickstarter campaign, he suggested this god, and we went for it. So, yeah, so happy to get this in the game.
So how many actually did come out of the Kickstarter?
The Kickstarter, we probably ended up with about 6-7 new gods that we hadn't even considered before.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It was a vibrant community. Yeah. So very, very good.
Again, we have a situation where one of them has won, but the other one doesn't know it yet.
Okay. Right.
So we're going to be pretty close.
Gordon is going to win.
Okay. All right. Take Paul's word for it, which means right, 2, 1, so let's see.
Okay, I'm not going to sleep here. I'm going to describe Siren. So if I'm playing Siren, I choose a direction. I'm going to choose this direction. And on my turn, I get to choose to pull all of your workers in this direction if I want. So you have to be very, very careful that whenever you're playing against me, that you set up in a way that I can't pull you off towers in this direction. So I can do that anytime I want. So nasty, and that's instead of my normal turn. So nasty god. Probably won't play with it tonight. Let's see. I've definitely explained a high fraction. Oh, Charybdis. So, Charybdis is the monster that you first probably read about in Homer's Odyssey. And this is one of the two monsters that is on either side of the strait, I think Strait of Gibraltar. And this monster is the whirlpool monster, sucks down ships. And so you are in control of 2 whirlpools. On your turn, at the end of your turn, you can place a whirlpool anywhere on the game board if you want. Not on top of an opponent or yourself or a dome, but anywhere else on the game board. If there's 2 such whirlpools on the board, whenever an opponent steps onto one, or whenever you step onto one, you immediately go to the other one. So if you're stepping up onto a whirlpool on the 3rd level, before you win, you end up moving to the other whirlpool. So a good defensive god, very interesting strategy. Not one of the strongest gods, but very, very interesting to play against.
It's done.
Okay.
All right,
It went
so
longer
God
than
did win.
expected because apparently he didn't see the winning move that everybody around the table saw.
All right, but he did win in the end.
He did win in the end, yes.
Okay, so in that case, I have pairings for the next round. If you want to jump in momentarily, I will go and start getting the players wrangled
Okay.
for this round.
I will join Gordon. I'll remember my microphone this time.
Yeah, sounds good.
So I set up your Actually, I'm
notice-
probably going to have to run out and explain gods to people again, right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
But that's fine.
I'll explain what heroes do. So heroes are gods. Their actions take place every turn of the game. So heroes, their action only takes place once in the entire game. So once it's played, you throw it away and you don't have that ability anymore. So Polyphemus is one example, and Polyphemus gets to build 2 domes instead of a regular move. Instead of a regular build, you can build 2 domes anywhere on the game board.
Explain rules.
But you can only do that once, and then you've lost this power. Most of the heroes, their abilities are very strong, but because they just get to use them once, most of them find it hard to compete against gods, but not all. Some are very strong. Let's look at another one. Theseus. Theseus gets to murder and remove a worker, an opposing worker, if they end their turn 2 levels down from an opponent. So this is Theseus winding his way through the labyrinth. So this is Theseus's ability.
Brutal.
Okay. So Eros starts on opposite ends. Okay. You win not only in the normal way, you also win if you get both of your workers neighboring and on the same level. On the first level, neighboring and on the first level, not the ground level, on the first level. Okay, you've got 1 first level built right now. Zeus has the ability that Zeus can move, and then as well as building around, Zeus can also build underneath himself. You might think that this is overpowered because you could imagine moving from the first level to the second level. Well, then you would build and you'd be on the 3rd level. But in order to win Santorini, you must move up on to win, not build up to win. So although you're on the 3rd level, you have not won the game with Zeus. Okay?
All right, well, underway.
Okay. So Zeus is applying a power right away, and Eros has decided not to try to get together right away, but to try to maybe distract Zeus by building up in the corner. So a fine strategy. Right now, both are totally reasonable.
So I still have to move first.
So Eros about to get onto the 2nd level. Let's see how this works. Not trying to move that other piece close. Normally Eros wants to try to at least threaten the second way to win.
Yeah.
Zeus is going to find this relatively easy to compete against a single Eros character because the builds of Zeus are so incredibly strong. And finally,
Here
the
it
second
comes.
one comes into the game.
Yeah.
You notice that Eros is building behind himself, and this is a very good move because if Eros was to build in front of himself right now, then Zeus could stand on top of that, and suddenly it would end up to be on the 2nd level, which is not a nice thing for Eros to deal with 2nd level towers.
Some mind games going on. Kiefer holding on to that level 1 piece of tower.
So doming this is, oh, okay. So probably doming that would have been a reasonable option here. Yeah, I like
putting the third level.
but this is fine because getting on top of the third level, it's interesting. We'll see what happens here.
So in this particular game, we have Kiefer, who is Gord's son, and probably pretty experienced, I would imagine.
Kiefer designed the god Hephaestus, so that's his god, and he also found one of the matchups that doesn't work in the game. Some of these gods are banned, and just before the second publishing, we find out, uh-oh, there's a problem. So that was interesting. Okay, so Kiefer almost certainly going to step up here and see. Yeah, so this is definitely the right move, and definitely another right move. So two right moves there.
So his opponent Gord has actually not played before, but is doing pretty well so far. He's won his first 2 rounds, so he is good at games, and has obviously picked this one up pretty quick.
So this is probably going to be a fast game. There's lots of potential here on both sides for nasty interplay. So I'm guessing this is going to... I don't see this game going on for long. That would be my prediction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is...
Their goal, they're going to win. So the way they do this is every time they take one, they're working on one space in any direction, and then they build a building.
and very nasty set of moves here. So Kiefer with Eros threatening to win on the next turn. So although Zeus is also threatening to win, it's unfortunately one move further back. So Zeus must forget about his win on the lower right of your screen and instead block Kiefer. And that's forcing Zeus to go down into a place that he doesn't really want to be.
So just want to clarify.
So a very kind move by Gord.
Wanted to clarify on Eros's ability. They have to be orthogonally adjacent to each other?
Nope,
So
just
diagonally?
Diagonally as well.
Okay. So I think in that case, Kiefer could have won on that last turn.
Now Kiefer's in...
Oh no, it has to be on the first level, not just the same level.
Yeah, that's right. So again, we have to... it's tantalizingly close for Zeus. There's a winning move just 2 moves away on the lower right of the screen for Zeus, but there's unfortunately a winning move next turn for so this is irritating. So again, Kiefer forcing Blue to drop down onto a lower level in order to dome that.
Yeah, one of the things I like about this game is that it can seem like the end is imminent, and sometimes it's really not, as long as the players are paying attention.
Yeah, I predicted this. I still predict this as a fast game because things are very dynamic. I would call a game dynamic if there's a huge variation in the height. You've got lots of 2 towers and lots of 0, and very few 1s. That's what I would call a very dynamic game. So this is an example of a very dynamic game. So Kiefer could different options there. Let's see.
That's good. I like that. Aggressive.
I think that was probably not a good winning move for Kiefer. I think that we have a move by blue to step up. Okay. Interesting. Well, none of this is looking dangerous now.
No.
So it looks like Eros has one in the corner.
Yeah.
So Blue had I think Blue had a winning move on the last turn by stepping up and immediately threatening a win. I believe so. So it was a very, very sharp interchange.
There you go. Steps down, win with the alternate win condition for Eros. So, yeah, that took a turn. It was close either way. Like,
Yes.
could have easily gone.
So if you
either way.
3 wins in a row for Kiefer, isn't it?
if you go back 2 turns, instead of stepping up with that blue into the central region, I think that's a mistake. I think you had won the game.
I think you were the other side.
Yeah.
I think you were on the one closest to you, which next to the
Yeah.
dome. I think that one was.
Yeah, I think that was there. Yeah.
One of them was there.
So I think stepping up,
Yeah.
yes, and
then
building
building.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's a winning move. I find it difficult to see.
Yeah.
I think that's a.
We would have to like watch this back and then
Yeah,
see.
and there's the win in the corner now.
Oh, they're not open there.
No,
could-
he's going to move there and win in the corner,
Yeah, and then he could build a.
right?
Yeah.
So I think that was. Yeah.
I have to look.
So that's the first time I've seen that matchup, and that was pretty nicely balanced. That was, yeah, you both played really, really well there. It was a very sharp game. Like I could see, oh my goodness, this is not going to last long. Yeah, that's the sharpest exchange we've had here. A game where there's lots of height 2 and very little height 1. That's a very sharp game. Yeah.
Yeah. It's dangerous, I guess. All right, that was good. Alex beat Matt. Okay, so we got 2 results in. So if we're doing 3 rounds and then doing the cut, do you want to decide which gods you want for the first semi-final?
For the first semi-final. So these are experienced players or players who.
They'll be probably experienced. I mean, at this point, I don't know exactly who's going to make the top 4, but obviously Kiefer is going to be one of them for sure. Gord might still make top 4, and he's not experienced, but he's demonstrated that he's pretty good. So yeah, at this point, I don't know how experienced. I feel like they'll probably be able to handle pretty much anything we throw at them.
So you can.
It'll make it an interesting game to watch.
Let's look at Let's look at that. No, I don't want that one. I've never seen this one before, so I'm going to try this one. But over here, let's do Cleo versus Hermes. That sounds
this one?
really wild.
Okay.
Never seen that either. I love learning about different combos. There's still so many that I haven't tried. I'm sure I haven't tried most combos. Yeah.
And that's that's the crazy thing about this game, is there are so many god powers in the game that you can play. Obviously, you've played this game I don't know how many times, but
I'm sure I'm between 2,000 and 3,000 plays.
and you still have combinations that you haven't played. So
Well, I played a lot of games without god powers. That's how I played for the first 2 years.
yeah,
And I've also done some strange things, like played double god power against a double god power, and that's fun to experiment with. Kiefer, could you grab? We're going to play Cleo here, so we need to have 3 of the special markers. Can you just find those 3 special markers?
yep. Should
Might be in there. Yeah.
We hope so. If not, Paul will know. Yeah, if you check with Paul, hopefully he'll have stuff we need. So that'll be 9 p.m. Mountain Time. So right now is coming up on 8.
Okay.
So I imagine, well, yeah, I think we'll probably be done another hour or so, because we're gonna once this round is done, we'll have semifinals and a final. It all depends how quick the games go.
Right.
With 5 games going on so far, at least one of them has gone a little bit longer, 20-30 minutes. Some of them have gone fast. So I'd say 9 p.m. at the outside will probably be done.
Right.
So there is a prize. We're giving away one of the acrylic overlays. These are made locally here in Calgary by Black Thumb Creations. There's one on the board that we're using for the stream. I believe Paul said they are going to be officially licensing these from Roxley Games. In terms of reprints, it is being reprinted. I'll let Paul come in and
Talk about brass?
talk about, well, reprints of this, but we can also talk about.
Oh, okay. I heard reprint, so I assumed you were talking about brass, but of course. Yeah, I can talk about both. Eric wins.
Eric wins. All right. So we'll get Paul in, because Paul can talk about Santorini reprints and what's coming up from Roxley.
I mostly can't talk about it.
Wow. I mean,
What I can
There is
tell you
one.
is that there is a reprint coming. It's going to be very, very large, and it's in the fall. And the game
Like
is
a large board?
yeah. Don't listen to him.
giant size.
Lots of quantity. There shouldn't be the number of people reporting that this game is sold out that there currently is. And you totally interrupted me. I can't remember what the third point. Oh yeah, right. I've seen some people asking on Board Game Geek, is it going to be the same game, or are they going to reduce the components or the quality or something like that? We're keeping it as close as possible to this. There are a couple of minor rules tweaks and things like that, things that we found that needed improvement, but otherwise it's going to be an identical game.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you more, but we're not ready to make the announcement yet, so Gavin will fire me.
That's okay.
I thought you were originally talking about brass, so we should shout that out while we have the opportunity. I'm assuming you
Yeah.
don't mind that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next Monday, Easter Monday, that goes live on Kickstarter, and for anybody who's not familiar with that, that is Martin Wallace's classic game. We've licensed it from him, and basically we've got brand new artwork. And
I've seen this artwork, and it is stunning.
yeah, and that is actually, it is the same artist that did Santorini and Steampunk Rally, but it's a completely different style. It's very realistic, almost dark, very, very beautiful artwork. I'm just so impressed with the versatility, because, I mean, I love the cartoony little style of Santorini and Steampunk Rally, but this is almost photo portrait
charcoal,
quality.
Yeah.
Very, well, charcoal, that's exactly what they're going for, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all from that era. And so yeah, you can see the artwork on Board Game Geek or on our Facebook page, and of course, so we have the original game with Martin Wallace's licensing, and then we also have the other one. So we're gonna have Brass Birmingham and Brass Lancashire, and Lancashire is it? He's British, so he knows this.
Lancashire.
Lancashire.
Lancashire. Yes, and it's Birmingham.
Birmingham. That's the one that I knew I was getting one of them wrong. It was Birmingham.
It's
Right.
It's one of those things.
Birmingham is in Alabama. Birmingham is in the UK.
Yeah, both Chris and I, Chris who's not here but normally hosts, and myself are both from Lancashire. So I've played brass quite a bit, and my hometown of Preston is on there, and Chris's hometown of Wigan is on there.
Nice.
So, you know.
So the sister game is not an expansion. It is a separate game developed by both Martin Wallace and Matt Tolman and Gavin Brown of Roxley Games. And it's going to be very similar, but it has a couple of new industries in it. It's got, I believe it's beer and pottery. I'm not on that end of Roxley. I don't do the deep Euro. I'm more in the promotional stuff, right? I have played it, but only once.
Yeah.
These guys are he's the heavy Euro gamer at the table here. Is that they're actually very, very easy to learn. They are long economic games though.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are coming to Kickstarter on Easter Monday. By all means, please come check us out and go check out the images on Board Game Geek. They're beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. So just looking at Twitch chat, and we had at least one person asking how Santorini works. Obviously coming in late, Audio Weasel, one of our regular viewers. So I don't know if you want to just do a quick rundown again.
Absolutely.
Probably do this like 10
I'll
times.
go check out the
That's
players
all
game
right.
while you do that.
Yeah. So let's start at the start. I'm going to be blue. You're going to be brown. I get to move my workers into the playing area. Then you get to move your workers into the playing area. It's my turn. I choose one of my workers and I move it to any neighboring space, including diagonals. Then I build around the worker that moved. So I'm going to build right here. Now it's your turn. You get to choose one of your workers. You get to move to any neighboring space. You can move up a maximum of one level each turn. So I can move up here. Let's fast forward in the game a little bit. So you must move and you must build on every turn. But how do you win the game? You win the game by getting on top of the third level. Is this a winning move? No. Remember, you can only move up a maximum of one level, and this is the third level. This is the first level, so this would not be acceptable.
All right.
But let's fast forward again in the game. Let's say that it was like this. Now you have got a winning move. This would go from the second to the third level. But it's my turn. How am I going to stop you? Well, I can choose one of my workers. I can move to any neighboring space, and then I can build around the worker that I moved. So I'm going to build here. This space cannot be moved on by either player, and it can't be built on by either player. It's totally inert. So I've thwarted your ability to win here. I've also, I can't win there either if I get up there far enough. If I get up at a later time. You can step down 2 levels, that's okay. But you can only step up a maximum of 1 level. Those are all the rules of Santorini. Now, there are a few gods that allow you to break the rules of the game, and that's what makes Santorini really replayable. So you are going to see in this tournament, we are setting up on each table. We have different god combinations set up.
We'll cut it off.
And players
8 o'clock now.
try
Try and be done by 9.
breaking the rules in a different way. They try to win the game. So whenever we've got players coming in pretty soon here to start our next round at this table, and you will see them. We're going to playoffs. Okay, so that means there'll be no more average players. These players are all going to be hot players. So let's see what combos we're gonna play.
That's definitely one of them. And then we have Racine, Eric, Dan. Yeah, it's
Exciting.
It's the awkwardness of it not quite working out in terms of a neat cut to top 4, but I may have to randomly pick 2 of these 3 to decide who gets.
Okay.
Although he's against a 2, he's against a 2. Here's E1 against a
The ones that
1.
went against Kiefer higher.
Yeah. In terms of.
What about Hades versus Tartarus? Are you going to veto it?
You want to put Tartarus in the playoffs?
Actually,
I've never tried.
Okay.
It's maybe too random. You would rather not have a random element? I'm happy not to.
We do have a bunch of matchups already set up out here, but we could just torpedo one if you think you do.
No, that's good.
Hades versus Tartarus.
No. Let's not have random for the tournament.
Okay.
Just
Right.
Let's keep it pure strategy for this tournament. So, although Santorini is marketed as a pure strategy game, there are 4 gods now, I think, that have hidden information or randomness. So it's not strictly true that Santorini is only a game that is pure strategy. There's lots of opportunity for evil chance to get in the way. Okay.
I'm going to grab the players.
Okay. So let's see who we have here.
So the randomness, that would be Taiki and Chaos you'd be referring to.
Oh, I think there's 5 then.
Right.
Yeah. There's also Moray,
Yes, the Moray
hidden information,
and Hecate and Tartarus.
So there's 5 now that have got some randomness involved. Hidden information, it looks random if you're an opponent, so you can't think of that as being random.
We had a couple of people particularly upset about the Moray for that during the Kickstarter because there's no way to logically deduce where their victory square is. It's all a game of psychology. It turns the game into bluffing essentially.
Yeah, but the bluffing is somewhat attractive to some players. So.
And there are ways you can work around it. Like you can immobilize them, for example, which is difficult because they have 3 workers. But that, or if you have an alternate victory condition, you can do that.
Yeah, it's. I personally think it's a fine addition, but not for everyone. There's many.
It is just the
many
one god.
gods that are irritating in one way or another.
All right, so we have semifinals.
Okay.
We've got Hussein versus Gordon here, Kiefer versus Eric. I don't know if you have a specific god pairing that you wanted to give to those guys.
Table. I'm going to go check on them.
Okay.
You may want to
Okay.
explain.
So I'll explain to you guys these powers.
Yes.
Cleo has the ability that on your first 3 builds, you get to place one of those markers. To your opponent, those markers look like domes. For you, they look like normal spaces. So you can build on them. You probably don't want to build on them, but you can move on them. And so it allows you a place to move that your opponent can't move and can't build.
Once it's placed, I lose the token. So I can't remove it.
That's right. It's only the first 3 and no longer for the rest of the game.
Oh, the first 3 or the first 3 I choose?
Nope. The first 3 builds, that is it. Okay, so you want to choose them very carefully where those first 3 go.
So he won't be able to move on top of them?
Or build on them. Okay?
It's kind of hard to see, like, first 3
Yeah?
It's like, I think I have to commit so much at the beginning.
Yeah. Now you can build on them, but if you build on them, they lose their power. So
And then he can jump on them.
and then he can jump on them. So you probably don't want to do that. Your ability, Gord, is that you can say on your turn, I'm not moving up or down, and then you can move both of your workers as much as they want, as much as you want. Even 0, you can choose to not move them at all. And then you, at the end of your movement, you say, okay, finished, and then you can build beside either one of them. So extremely free to move around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. So how are we doing? We're doing different for each team, I guess. Is that how you should be doing it? The
Youngest goes first.
Youngest goes first, or we, yeah.
30.
Oh. Yeah, and I'm 25 if you're playing against me later.
Yeah.
Well, at least I think this is kind of good not to go first with her. It seems like at least I can kind of see. We'll see. I think I need more experience though. This seems to be like an advanced god for sure.
Advanced to play against too.
Yeah.
Advanced to play against.
Yeah.
And not super advanced. You'll get the hang of it really quickly.
Yeah. Clearly, you guys have done pretty well. You're both.
You're pretty
We're
good.
both like this is the first time even playing this game.
Yeah,
I've seen it before, but
yeah.
You obviously picked it up pretty quickly. So, yeah. So it's Cleo and what's the name? What's the other one? Hermes. Sorry. Yes. Cleo and Hermes.
So the other game that you don't
Gameplay.
see happening right now between Eric and Kiefer, Kiefer chose Cronus and Pan as the two gods.
Oh, they're choosing two gods.
No, not together. They're each playing only one god, but he chose those two as the two they're going to play.
Yeah.
And Eric chose Cronus. So I'm pretty sure that means Kiefer's going to win. Because he has already won today with Pan, and I think he's got more experience than Eric does.
Yeah. So that we can veto that. before it gets going.
I made my recommendations, but they this is how they wanted to play it.
Okay. Well, it is a fair matchup.
Yes.
For more experienced players.
Yes.
Kiefer is reasonably experienced, but Eric is brand new to this, so
Yes.
I sadly expect a demise over in that far table.
I gave disclaimers. I suggested that maybe this wasn't the best possible strategy, but I don't believe in micromanaging players.
On the other hand, if Eric had chosen, and Kiefer give Eric the choice,
Yes.
if Eric had chosen Pan, this would have been a very, very interesting matchup.
That's what I was
because
really
Kiefer
hoping he was
is-
going to do. Yes.
Kiefer is capable of blocking Pan because he's reasonably good. So, anyway, it'll be interesting. And Pan, all that you need to do with Pan is to stop the other player getting up on the second level.
Yes.
Just make that your objective. Forget about
Yes.
everything else. Just stop the other player getting on top of the second level, and you're already halfway to winning. So it's actually not that hard to give advice to beginning players.
I can actually see from here, Kiefer has just moved up to the second level.
Okay, well, I don't have glasses, so I am sad for Eric.
And I'm pretty sure Eric has that look on his face of, I know I've lost, but I'm trying to think of a way out of it.
So yeah, this game is very accessible to pretty much anyone. Chris, who is not here, he bought this right away after we did the previous stream on it. He actually did a review with his wife Jill as well. So I think on his Dice Hate channel, he's got a review about Santorini. I've played it with my wife. It's one you can play this game with anyone, anywhere. I actually saw on Board Game Geek recently a bunch of people who are making little tiny Lego versions.
Oh yeah, and they're like 5 Lego dots on
Yeah.
each dimension, right?
Yeah.
This is an interesting.
Hey Gord, do you want to tell Kiefer he had to win 2 out of 3?
Yeah. Okay, now you have to switch roles, switch powers.
We probably should. The semi-finals and final.
Well, that's actually a good idea to switch.
Well, then you.
Well, then you can get new characters.
Kiefer thought he'd maneuvered himself into a win there.
Yeah.
So So just looking at this game, it looks like
This is what happens when the judges
Cleo
are
stepped up
underhanded,
onto
ladies and gentlemen.
that token and then built a second level. So
This is, as Cleo, you, okay, and this is a giant mistake. So, you see the problem?
This,
is
yeah,
that right
yeah.
away, if you play this right, you're just going to play right on top of that one. Okay, that was the wrong move. But it's not.
It's okay.
It's okay. But the
Could've
other
been
way,
better.
the other way would have been an amazing sure win.
Yeah.
Right away. So already this is
It's still in pretty good shape.
extremely
Yeah.
dangerous. Extremely dangerous.
So are you going to tell them the same rule?
I think we are going to be doing that.
I think
Yeah.
we'll stay the same route. So this will be the best out of 3, and you'll be
Switch
switching
God
powers for the second game, and for the third game,
If it goes to that,
if it goes to that, then we'll
new powers.
new powers.
Yeah.
Unless you both agree with which power you. No. Well, we'll choose new powers.
Yeah, let's choose new powers, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should have
Cleo.
kept one. All these piles of gods have been mixed together now.
Yeah, that was my fault. I just started shuffling them and say, how could I mess up even more?
That's what happens
So-
when you let designers get involved in things.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you can make me just work this out
I will sort it all
by
out
myself.
afterwards.
Okay.
I do this
Yeah.
at every convention. Every convention, the games all get mixed together, and I have to count out exactly the right number of pieces for each game afterwards.
Yeah,
That's really annoying.
I think that's sealed it.
Yeah. This is a desperate position. So Cleo made short work up. So the problem there for Hermes. Hermes should have just kept in that corner. That Hermes was in an ideal position. It would have forced Cleo into a very difficult decision if Hermes had just stayed exactly where he was, blocking where that piece is now on the second level. Hermes was in an ideal position to just block that. So there's the game.
Cleo's another favorite of mine.
Absolutely.
You asked for favorites of mine.
Cleo is
Yeah.
absolutely a favorite of mine too.
And there you go. So
Yeah.
I was kind of like, okay.
So in that game, Hermes was in the ideal position in that corner, and even if that had been built up, because you don't have to move, you're in a great defensive position. And then you moved out, which immediately it killed it. And as soon as he moved out, basically anything would have won. But a stronger move would have been to build on the space that he moved out, because then the one in the corner is protected as well. So then you've kind of got 4 that are just yours.
yeah.
But anyway, it was deadly.
So yeah, we'll switch around.
She works really well in corners, it seems like, because then you kind of, I don't know, maybe I haven't played
Well,
her. It works really
I
well in
get-
corner, because then if I block 2 and I take that third space, he has no access to that space at all.
Well, normally for most gods, I would play her trying to, for example, trying to set something up like this, where these are hers, and then this is kind of a dead zone.
True, yeah.
Okay, so
It kind of gives me a whole wall.
yeah. So but with Hermes this won't work, because Hermes is so mobile. So that's why I thought I've never played this matchup. I'm really interested in how this works.
So game 2 of the semi-final.
So we're trying again. We've swapped rules.
In the other game, Eric defeated Kiefer using Pan. So
Okay.
Pan won both games.
Okay.
And now they've switched to Hades versus Artemis.
Hades versus Artemis is a great matchup. Hades is the god of the underworld. So the opponent cannot step down. And Artemis has the ability of moving twice. So it's dangerous for Artemis. Elementary players are going to be tempted to move up.
Looks like there may be a rules question there. I'm going to zip over and help them.
Okay. Artemis is going to be tempted to move up prematurely against Hades. So Artemis has to be very, very confident whenever she decides to move up that she has some flexibility. So let's see what happens here.
Yeah.
So back in this game. So here we have Hermes again versus Cleo.
Yeah, it's good. We've seen a lot of different gods, and it makes the game so different.
Yeah.
And so this is as long as I don't move up, right? Or down. Yes. Is that correct? As long as I move up or down.
Right. Yeah, just playing this game with the different god powers, whether it's yours or your opponent's, you just have to think about very different things from game to game, trying to prevent certain things from happening, or being more aggressive or being more defensive, and that's what makes it so good.
So what for me makes me prefer it to chess in that there's, like in chess, there's very, very defined openings. Like if you study it, you will learn all the normal ways to play chess, and you will memorize them. And then effectively, it seems to me like the first 10 or 15 moves between grandmasters isn't really that interesting a game. They're following scripts, right? And you don't do that in Santorini because with 57 possible choices of who you're going to play times 57 possible opponents, like that's a ridiculous number of possibilities. I've played hundreds of games now. You've played thousands, maybe tens of thousands. And I'm sure you're still running into combinations you've never played before.
I don't think I think I've probably not played most combinations. In playtesting all these powers, I playtest them first of all against Athena, secondly against maybe Artemis, thirdly against maybe Atlas.
one.
Right.
All right. So
I think that is a good way to make sure that they're about equal, but it also means that there's so many combos that I haven't played.
And this way, it's a very difficult game to handle rules question, or like rules for, in that you will, like you've been developing this for 30 years, and Roxley's had it for about a year now, and we'll still come up with things like, it just happens that none of us happen to play this particular god against this particular god, and a rules question comes up, and we're like, huh, how does that work, you know?
and then we ask Gordon, and he tells everyone.
Yes.
But I am not the world expert at this game and the rules. Michael von.
If there's an expert, he's the closest thing to it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So this is really interesting to me. I don't feel like I'm the person who has the firmest control of Santorini and the Santorini universe. Really interesting.
What's really funny sometimes is a question will come up and we will disagree as to what the answer is.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, who's the authority? He's the guy who designed it, but Michael knows the rules the best, but Gavin's the publisher, so at some point we have to kind of agree with each other what's going to be the resolution of it.
Yeah.
And you know that if it's on Board Game Geek, people are always going to take what the designer says as gospel, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
Question. For Hermes, do they move simultaneously, or I get to pick one to move and then I can move another one?
And then you can go back and move the first one again, and
Okay,
you can.
so it's not like
yeah.
I can't block my own people essentially. Pretty much.
Yeah, you can move interchangeable as much as you want.
yeah. So
That actually is an example of a question no one's ever asked me. I've had that question with Terpsichore, but never with Hermes.
Yeah. Yeah, and it does matter.
super speedy.
Yeah, there are some situations where it might
there
make a
are some
difference.
Situations.
Yeah.
Correct.
So did Kiefer
Yeah.
win that other game?
He did. So Kiefer was victorious.
And he was playing
He was playing Artemis against Hades.
Against Hades. Okay, so right.
Yeah, there you go.
Hades is difficult to play against. Definitely not a big. I see beginners making mistakes with Hades by getting too excited to climb up and then like asphyxiating on the high level deoxygenation.
Santorini, that tall an island, really?
So here we have a totally different strategy from the last game, and yeah, this is interesting. So
Oh, I love the different possible ways you can open with Cleo, and I still haven't
Oh.
decided what my favorite is.
absolutely.
And to a certain degree, you almost have to immediately modify based on what your opponent's doing, because there's lots of things you can do to take advantage of what they're doing if you play it right. So,
Again, this looks like against a normal god pawn. This looks like an extremely strong setup for
Cleo.
For Cleo, but
Hermes
against
in
Hermes,
specific.
this is not obvious what to do here. I don't know.
Yeah, third and final token.
Yeah, I love learning the games myself as like we're in this position and we're supposed to be the experts. I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure what I would do.
every time I start thinking I'm an expert, it's that pride goeth before a fall moment. I was just at Godfest in Edmonton over the weekend and watching a couple of people playing, and one guy was getting all full of them, and I was like, yeah, I'm taking everybody down. I was like, okay, let's play against me then. So I'll take you down. He proceeded to beat me 3 times in a row.
So this is not the move I would have made. I would have built on the second level where that blue worker is at the top.
Oh, really?
Moved and built on the second level.
I would have built a link from those two to the edge of the board myself to try and build a corner that's entirely mine.
Well, a second level building for Cleo is really good.
No, I agree with you, and I love doing that on top of one of my opponent's first buildings.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then in the rare situation where you manage to get a third one up, that's downright terrifying for your opponent.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
You can choose if you want to build that yourself. Over
well,
top of
yes,
one
but
of
then
those,
you don't
but
get
then
any other coins. It's your only
Yeah.
coin in existence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a tempting move to move into the corner and then build the second level from where you moved from.
Not into the corner,
No?
but to move
Oh, just
probably
somewhere else?
back onto the other coin that you had, and then
Okay,
onto
yeah.
the second
Yeah.
level. Probably, I think a more central position is better than being in the corner there.
That's true.
Yeah.
This is still a very interesting situation.
The corner, on the other hand, is a good idea because then you could move from the corner on top of the 2 and build again in the corner.
Yeah.
And now you've got 2 2s, and that's irritating. So if you're Cleo here, what you would want to do is you want to somehow limit the ability of Hermes to move down that corridor, if you like, on the lower right. So you want to be moving your worker in there to block that, and maybe building a tower of height 2 or something that blocks them moving down there. Strategically, that's what I would be looking at doing right now.
I can see one of the commenters here is talking about building a block in the bottom center here
Yeah.
to cut off Hermes.
I agree with that.
And
wouldn't-
I agree, but because he can't change levels when he's using his power.
But you
Yeah.
can
So a
move
single block is enough to stop him, right?
But
Yeah,
not,
but you
not
could move-
center.
in that top right corner. You can still move through
Yes,
that
as,
gap
well, there's
right
yes,
now, right?
until another block is built or
Yeah.
another worker is placed there.
So if you're Hermes, what is your strategy here? Your strategy is you would want to defensively be in that position where that worker is right in the middle of the board. That's a good defensive position to be in.
Yes, particularly because Hermes doesn't need to move.
That's right.
So,
exactly right.
yeah.
That's why it's so strong. And offensively, you want to be building with your other worker and moving up as far away from that as possible.
Well, maybe down in the bottom left there, where
I
there's
think the
already
bottom
that
left.
2-level
Exactly.
tower exists already.
Exactly.
Because you could just run over there and then run back at any given moment.
Yeah, exactly right.
So I see somebody here asked, what are the powers of the different gods? Gord explained both of those earlier in the broadcast. I don't know if you want to go. When entering a tournament, it'll depend on who's running the tournament, but what we did today was we preset fair matches for the players, for the most part. And then what the rulebook recommends, what Gord usually recommends, is that one player will choose a matchup of 2 gods and the other person will choose which one they're going to play.
Yeah. So if you pick an unbalanced one where one god's clearly stronger, your opponent gets to decide
Exactly.
if they want to take that.
I think this is a really nice small little rule. It's not random. Randomness is you would think that's fine, but it's not as nice as one player just taking the time to go through and say, okay, I'm kind of interested in this matchup. Okay, let's try that. I think they're about equal, and then handing it over to an opponent. This avoids some problems with a game this complex. The most obvious one is that these powers are mostly balanced. I certainly have tried very hard to balance them, but I can imagine in 10 years there's going to be an internet community that absolutely believes, for example, that Lemus is a very, very powerful god, and that Minotaur is useless against Lemus. Well, in that case, you don't want to randomly choose these 2 gods 10 years from now. Instead, much better for you to figure out, okay, Lemus, it's not clear, the internet community isn't sure who wins Lemus versus Hypnos. Okay, well, now you've got an interesting power matchup, and you choose that if you're an experienced player. So I do think it's a nice small little rule.
There's a little convention here in town called the Board Game Bash of Blood that I went and ran a Santorini Tournament at, and a lot of the players insisted that they wanted to be able to do random god drawing. They complained that I was trying to make them do this select and choose method, and I said, okay, if the 2 of you mutually agree you're going to do random gods, go ahead and do it. I'm fine with that. And they did, and it bit some of them. There were some of them who regretted doing that. They got bad matchups, and they were like, oh, why did I do this? You know? And I was like, sorry, you agreed to it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, much better for beginner players. You want to choose gods that you understand and your opponent understands. For experienced players, you want to get interested in that combo.
And then you have what Kiefer did there, was a little gambit where he set up an advantage that he knew one god he could win with it, and he just hoped his opponent picked the other god.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could do that, but it could come back and bite you, I guess.
Yeah. We made sure it went back and
Yes,
bit him.
yes. He ended up winning anyways, but he had to do it legitimately through a third god.
Yeah.
So Hermes has nipped into that little gap on the right hand side.
Okay.
Oh yes, the game continues while we're talking here.
Probably safer to have. Well, yeah, I'm not sure what I would have done there. That's a reasonable move.
Still has access
Well,
to
I know what I do as
most
Cleo in
spots
this
on the
match,
board.
but I don't know what I do as Hermes.
A few turns ago, there was I don't know. I was going to say I would have stepped up if I was Hermes and taken control of the top right corner, but I'm no longer sure that would be good, because stepping up is really restricting Hermes' ability. This is
That's interesting, yeah.
This is a very interesting move.
It's not what I would have done, but it's close to what I would have done.
It's a very interesting move. So, in this situation, what do you do?
If you ignore, Hermes is going to be forced to abandon some of his power soon.
It might just be worth a step up there. As,
As a defensive preventative measure.
yeah, it's not clear.
Sometimes I find with some of the God matchups it comes down to this where like you have a specific kind of game you're trying to play and your opponent keeps trying to bait you away from that game to play their game instead. And I feel like that's kind of what's going on here.
So for the benefit of Audio Weasel and anyone else who is new to this, I don't know if we mentioned at any point the base game of Santorini comes with 30
Yes,
gods?
the base game comes with 30. If you kickstarted, you got the expansion included for free. Otherwise, you can come buy it separately. They have it here at the Sentry Box.
So this last move is almost certainly not good. If I decided not to move either of my characters, I would have built exactly there to make sure that exactly that did not happen. So this is getting really serious now.
Yes.
That last move of Hermes was very, very dangerous.
Cleo's in a very powerful
Yeah.
situation right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So not
So
great.
yes, as Greg was saying, base game includes 30 gods. Cleo is not one of those gods. Cleo's in the Golden Fleece expansion, which has 15 more, and that also includes all the gods that have extra components, things like those coins you see, or the player shield, or additional workers, that sort of thing. The Golden Fleece also includes 10 heroes, which are characters with one-shot powers usable once during the game, and an additional way to play, which is the Golden Fleece token itself, which lets both players share the same power under certain circumstances.
So yeah.
And then there's more gods coming, two promotional ones available directly from Roxley, and they'll be in the future expansion as well.
Yeah, so right now 57 different
Possible ways
gods
to
or
play.
heroes.
Plus godless version,
Plus
the Golden
godless.
Fleece.
Yeah, so a lot of
So
variation.
I do want you guys to imagine what would have happened on the last turn if Hermes had built on the right side where the blue worker is now standing.
At the third level there?
On the third level.
Yes, that would have been
to
a
block
very
that.
strong
This
move.
would have been a very, very strong move to really block off that whole
I can't
advantage.
tell if they're listening to us or not.
Yeah. So
Just
so
critique
now,
their moves
I
after
think-
the fact. Tell them
now you can see
what they should have done.
Yeah.
a lot of danger.
I think if I was Cleo, I would have moved down to the bottom there and still built that second tower, and still had approximately the same strategy. It just would have taken a lot longer to do.
But the game is very dangerous right now. And
Giving Hermes
that's-
time to play around with what he's currently playing around with.
That's the end. 2 turns here. So it is funny. You guys can't see it, but unfortunately we are within earshot of the.
Yeah, we're approximately 8 feet away from
Yeah,
these guys.
yeah. So it's
Say hi, guys.
So there's the winning move right there.
Oh no!
So
Completely blocked off.
yeah. So there's no way around that. So that was a critical move 2 turns ago, where Hermes should have blocked that move up into the 3rd level. Yeah.
There you had it,
So
folks.
one turn too late.
There is, in fact, a cure for Hermes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Now, wait a minute. That's their second game, right? So
Yeah. So now we have
now
to
we
come
need
up
to
with
pick-
a
they need a tiebreaker.
tiebreaker. Do you have any preferences here?
I'm not sure what the best match we've had so far was. There was a really good one with Scylla versus, or no, actually, I think we should pick something that's not going to be a long game. They've already had a long time here.
Okay.
Or do you want to give them one of them the
Well,
choice?
they could move to a different table.
Oh, they can't. We can't see them if they do that.
Yeah, I know, but there's another group that could come in here, or they've.
well, we gotta wait.
Oh, actually-
Kiefer will play the winner of this one in the final.
Okay, fair enough. So, would you like to play Terpsichore? That'll be reasonably fast against Athena.
How about versus Pan?
Versus Pan? Terpsichore versus Pan.
No, you don't think so? That's craziness? Or Scylla, maybe?
Yeah. Why do we do Scylla?
That would probably be quite fast, I think.
Right, I like
Let's
that.
do that. Okay, I'll go explain them to them.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. So what's the...
So he's coming over.
Oh, and I'm going to be explaining this because Paul doesn't have his microphone with him. So Scylla can pull the opponent from a neighboring space, can pull the opponent with into the vacated space whenever Scylla moves. So a very, very nice, strong, sucky move by Scylla. Terpsichore gets to move both workers, and then after moving with both, builds with both workers. It is not an option. You must move both, and you must build with both. So a little bit, you have to be a little bit careful with Terpsichore that you don't end up in a situation where so that you don't end up in a situation where you block in one of your workers. So Gord is playing Terpsichore, and Scylla is being played by Hussein.
Yes. The Muse of Dance. When I first discovered this game, when Gord first taught me, I was convinced Terpsichore was broken, like just totally overpowered, and I fiercely advocated this, and then I proceeded to lose a number of games with her.
Yeah, seems like it would be really good getting to do both your workers.
But compared to Artemis, being able to move one twice, it's...
So one question, if you move them both simultaneously?
Simultaneously.
And then is the build simultaneous? Could you build
Sorry, you
on the
can move one
space?
after another.
You do all your moving first, and then you do all your building.
Okay, so you could build a level 1 and then a level 2 on top of it.
Yes, they could both build in the same spot.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, we're both answering at the same time. I should just let you go ahead.
Oh, that makes it more exciting.
It's a perfect illustration of Terpsichore. We both talk at the same time.
Yeah, perfect. We can do it in unison. My son needs nutrition in order to keep on playing. Can you take the dog out for another walk?
You have a dog here?
Yeah.
Is it named Cerberus?
Kiefer, grab someone. Don't go out by yourself. Grab someone else. This is a...
I'll go with it.
Oh, thanks.
I was going to ask Paul, you mentioned the promos. Was the intention that everyone would get a set of promos,
yes.
or some people
So
would
we
get
do
some?
have the promotional gods here. You've seen Scylla in some games already. This is in the current one. And then we also have Tyche, the goddess of good fortune. And Roxley is selling these. We normally charge for this. Email us at orders@roxley.com if you want them. Or the Steampunk Rally ones. But here at the tournament, anybody who has Santorini or is buying Santorini, I'm willing to give them the promos for free, just for the participation and for coming out to support the Santorini box.
Yippee.
Now I'm going to go help walk a dog.
Thanks, Paul. Okay. So, are there any questions out here?
Yeah, I think we answered pretty much all the questions. I know way back up there someone asked, what are some great Canadian board game publishers?
Oh, there's only one, and it's called Roxley.
Yeah. I honestly don't know. Like, there was Valley Games, but they've gone away. There must be others that I'm not aware of. Perhaps some like war game.
So this is an interesting starting setup. So Terpsichore is moving first. So there's Terpsichore. She moves both, and now she builds with both. She builds beside one, and she builds beside the other one. So that's a nice strong beginning.
Right. Plan B Games
Yeah.
is Sophie Gravel from what was Philosophia. and Z-Man, who, yeah, I guess now owned by Asmodee, but Plan B has broken off and has games coming out soon.
So, Scylla just made a comment that he thought it looked futile to use her power to pool right now. And absolutely, this is not the time to use Scylla's power. It's the time to get close to Terpsichore. Terpsichore has decided to activate the lower left of the board, and Scylla needs to be in the lower left of the board.
Yeah.
I guess you could choose to use your power to pull that worker, one of the workers, into the middle of the board and then get close to the side. But you certainly want to. You have to follow around Terpsichore at the start, because Terpsichore has got double the builds. So that wherever Terpsichore goes, you need to follow.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, well, if I do
And answer Mustard Brain. If you go to Roxley, I think it's roxleygames.com or roxley.com. I think it's just roxley.com. Google Roxley, their website. You can get the promos there. Or if you go play in an event where they are hosting.
And I'm not biased at all. You're a tiny bit hungry. Can you chew on some Santorini cards until we're finished with turning?
Yeah, normally with Chris running the production side, I was expecting that I could either play or just deal with the organization. But he wasn't able to make it, which also meant I was not able to pop out and get food. So I'm with Kiefer on this one.
Kiefer eats more than I do. By a lot. Oh.
So interesting. Some deep thought going on.
Oh, sure. Why not? How many games are we going to walk home with?
That never worked on mine.
Yeah. Parenting 101. Your child asks for a credit card, you hand it over.
Everybody online, you caught those numbers off of that?
Yeah, I just realized.
Screenshot.
Whoopsie. Then I quickly turned it so you also get the secret CV code on the back.
I see a question from Mustard Brain. How do you get those promo guts? Email me at orders@roxley.com.
Oh,
There's
there you
a
go.
small shipping charge for them.
Yeah. I told everyone to go to Roxley website, but email Paul.
You
It's
already
better.
told them? You already answered that?
Well, I didn't say email you because I didn't know your email, but yeah, email Paul.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you should have come to Calgary and played in this event.
Yeah. Yeah. Or track us down at Gen Con. We'll be at Gen Con for anybody who's at Gen Con.
Is Gavin at the gathering right now?
I think he's back now.
Oh, okay.
And unfortunately, I would have brought you the copy of Brass to show off, but we immediately had to mail it out to Rado.
Oh no, that's okay.
So
much better to get, someone like Rado doing a video, and then everyone can see how awesome it is.
hey, we should shout out Guerrilla Marketing,
Yes,
because we're going to be doing another Roxley game right here on the Century Box channel.
Yeah. So in 2 weeks, 2 Mondays from now, we're going to be playing a game called Guerrilla Marketing.
By Adam Wise,
Yeah.
another Calgarian.
He's up and rising star. He's signed like 6 games with 6 different companies now.
Amazing.
And this is his parlor game about generating hilarious acronyms for
It's
products
really good.
and advertising slogans for those products. And we're going to play it here live at the Century Box.
Yeah. So we're going to play that in 2 weeks, and Roxley have signed it already?
Yes, I don't have a production date for it yet, but it will be coming probably later this year.
I'm not a party game person. I'm way too serious for that. But I love guerrilla marketing. Yeah, I was in kinks of laughter. I played this at Nerdvana, which is a little gaming conference here. I played in Nerdvana, and like I'm very serious, and I was laughing at my own humor as I wrote down these things. I was laughing at how clever I was, and I was just like, and I never ended up winning, but it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I played it recently, and it's the kind of game that is a great one to watch, even if you're not playing. So I think
It's also really fun to watch the stumped look on Greg's face.
Yeah.
When it's his turn and he can't think of anything.
Yeah, because I'm not a very creative person. So
I've suggested to Adam a rule that may help in situations like that, so we'll see what he thinks, whether he decides to put it in or not.
But yeah, if you watch in 2 weeks' time, you'll be getting a bit of a sneak peek of a game that will be coming out at some point in the future from Roxley. So should check that out for sure.
Okay, how dangerous
We got
is
here.
this? This looks.
Which one's which?
So that is
It's Hussein's turn right now.
Stella is brown.
Yeah. Hussein does need to get closer to Terpsichore. I don't think it's critical here, is it? Yeah, I think this is a problem.
I seem to remember we thought this was going to be a fast matchup with these guys.
I think it could
Well,
be.
this was a very good move.
Really had not many choices.
Oh, that's an interesting move. I had not seen that coming. That's a very nice move.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting. Interesting matchup. It was essential that Terpsichore got closer there.
Yeah.
Yes. Wasn't doing any good off there on the other side of the board.
Yeah. So
It's funny, you would think that on a 5x5 grid, you couldn't really be far enough away that it matters, but sometimes it really does.
Yeah.
Sometimes that extra square is just too far.
Yeah. That's why I like playing Artemis, because then you get that double move and
I find Artemis is an extremely good god for new people because she's very, very forgiving of things that would, like she's very, very good at getting you out of jams that other gods would be stuck in.
yeah.
yeah, if you're not along the edge, you kind of have access to
The entire
whole
board. So much harder to block her.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I did say earlier on that I thought we'd be done by 9, but we decided that we would do a best of 3 for the semifinals and the final.
Now, this leaves us almost kind of obligated to do a best of 3 final.
I think we should.
We should make them play 3 games at once.
So I think for the finals, do you want to have a choice of one of them? Do an official choice of, or no? We should make the choice. So
I think these guys are good enough at this point that they could make.
There you go.
But Kiefer's going to do some silly.
Oh, he's totally going to do a Kiefer Gambit. Yes.
Yeah. No, let's not give him that option.
That is a win because there's no way
Oh, yeah.
of preventing. Step up, you can only pull 1 away.
Yeah.
No way of doming that corner.
Knew that was coming.
And are we going to play with 3 different gods, or are we going to switch? The switching was kind of nice.
Letting them both play
Is
each
there
way.
a way that if we chose 3 gods, they could play all 3 combinations? Be like a triangle setup?
All right, there you go.
So like,
It's tough to pull away. 2 people building.
Yeah.
Only got 1 move.
Yeah, you're
tough.
pulling up to the upper left.
Yeah.
That move, that killed you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it took that one right out of there.
I don't think I told you. Did I tell you?
Okay, I'll go get Kiefer here then.
Block me, kind of. I think.
Yeah,
then it was like, no
but
way.
moving away from
Yeah.
him, like you needed to be like
Yeah.
right there with.
Very early on, there's
yeah.
one where you chose to suck him, move one to the side, sucked him into the middle,
Yeah.
and then you could have got closer to the corner
Yeah.
and just built and not used your power. I think that
Yeah, it's kind of
made it difficult.
These are. It seems like a little bit more advanced heroes, I think, or advanced gods. I think these ones. Or you have to have a little bit more knowledge.
Well, I mean, all of these you gain as you play. You gain even the simple gods. You simple.
Yeah.
You learn.
So,
These ones. Yeah. Anyway.
No, very good, awesome, thanks.
All right.
Yeah.
Kiefer has already defeated Gord earlier in the tournament.
Wow.
I believe this was a pan shenanigan, if I remember properly.
Okay.
That was in
No, I
round
don't think
3.
so.
Yeah, round 3
No,
they did
that
play.
one wasn't because that was done here.
Okay.
And we never had pan here.
Oh, that's right. His pan was against Eric.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we have seen both
that
these
may
players
make a fast
before. Actually, that was when Kiefer got a bit giddy and made a move that let Gord win, and he let him take it back.
Yes. Yeah.
So Gord will be looking for revenge. We're picking them out
Trying
right
to make
now.
neither of them ever go up? Is that the plan? So, Gord is hypothesizing Medusa versus Hades.
Oh, what should we have?
Actually, no, that's hilarious because Medusa wants to go up, but you don't want to go up against Hades.
You want to try it?
That's a weird matchup.
Okay, so we'll play 3 different matchups for the final. Okay, and I'm purposely choosing ones that I don't think Kiefer's ever seen either. I don't think anyone's seen this one. I have no idea who's stronger here. So maybe, yeah, okay.
I'll let you choose.
All right.
Okay, so Medusa has the ability that if she is neighboring at the end of her turn, if she's neighboring one of your workers and higher, that worker's killed. It's replaced by a block. Your ability is that Kiefer can never move down. So we'll try it. Do you want to try it like this and then swap, or do you want entirely new gods for the second game?
This is a casual thing, so
okay.
either way is fine.
We'll play that one out, and the loser can decide if they want to play the same
That's
ones
true.
or new ones.
That's
Yeah,
good.
sure.
That's good.
We'll do that. Yeah, I intentionally didn't make
Rock,
the-
paper, scissors.
Oh, that Kiefer's unstoppable. He's even winning at rock, paper, scissors.
So yeah, I intentionally didn't make the tournament rules super strict because I wanted it to be a casual event.
That's good.
Obviously, at some point in the future, if we were to do a more serious tournament, we would figure out some
Yeah.
rules.
just-
I like
Define
this.
the gods, yeah.
This is a nice.
This way we get to see lots of different types of gods. And
At the end of any of Kiefer's turns, if he is neighboring you and above you, that worker is turned to stone.
both these gods are like brutal.
I actually haven't seen it.
Yeah, it makes it really interesting because you kind of don't want to get close, but you almost have to, or you can't just leave someone alone, or they'll just win, especially if they're going ahead of you. It's like typically in this game you need to stick close to your opponent, but
The interesting thing for me about it is that for Medusa to use her power effectively, she has to ascend to a higher level, which is a risky thing to do against Hades.
it's true.
So this is an interesting matchup.
Yeah, it is. But that last build by Kiefer was the wrong build. The build should have been on the other side of Medusa. So this Hades can wiggle out of. But if Kiefer had built on the other side, Hades would have lost.
Yeah.
Good response.
That is,
Yes, good response.
that is the correct response. And you can see that if Kiefer had built on the other side, that then there would have been that worker that would have been in trouble.
Yeah.
So that was a critical move there.
I find that Medusa. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it was a very natural move. It was a move that I was going to make. That was my first knee-jerk reaction. It was exactly the same move, and it was wrong. So that's interesting. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that Medusa and Bia, the two workers that are capable of killing opposing workers, sorry, two gods. They're also in that class of these are gods that kill off new players a lot.
Yeah.
Where you have to have some concept of how to play against them. Apparently, you also have to have some concept of how to play them. I don't see Medusa get played very often because I think a lot of people don't find killing workers to be fun. They're not inspired by that.
Oh, I would.
So this is good. Kiefer needs to shut down. The game is now Hades. Hades is winning this game. Kiefer needs to do something different, and doming off one area of Hades' territory. Now Hades only has a size 2 territory instead of a size 3 territory. So this was a strategically correct decision that Kiefer made by on 2 successive turns limiting that ability.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how it switches from, who's on the offensive. Kiefer was on the offensive, trying to take out one of Gord's workers, but now he's been forced into a more defensive, having to dome off.
Kiefer's definitely in a defensive position here because of that mistake early on. Interesting. Very, very strong. Difficult to see how Kiefer's going to recover from this.
Yeah, he's got some challenges here now.
Big problem.
Oh, that was an interesting move.
It looks very, very bad. So if you're Gord, let's see. And this is the exact right move that Gord has made. So very, very harsh problem that Kiefer has. He's made the only correct move. And probably the build I would have built back one space so that you at least have some offensive ability. But it's absolutely desperate. Playing against an expert game, this is over. Like there's nothing to solve to fix this. This is a finished game. Even though I can't see the actual how many moves it is to finish, this is absolutely finished. Medusa's power, you can see, is totally useless.
Yeah, if you're below your opponent, the snakes can't reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they would have the guy.
So Gord is trying to figure out his way to that victory without leaving the door open.
Okay, there is a there is a victory in one.
Oh, I see it.
Because I'm pretty sure they had only one set.
Oh, I see it. That makes sense. Whether you're not.
2, 3. There's a 3-move victory here for Hades. So you can see that Medusa really has no power now. She's down low.
Yeah, once Hades is on 2, unless you can convince him to go back down.
Which doesn't seem likely.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yep. That's game right there. That's game right there. You see it.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
It's so easy to see it when you're not sitting at the table, right? When you're like looking over someone's shoulder. Put the blackjack on the red queen!
Yeah. I think there was a longer way of doing it that I had figured out, but yeah.
So, Greg, have you learned to become a Santorini expert from all this?
No.
Do we have the marker of this?
Yeah, there was one over there. I can go grab one if you're happy with that matchup.
I think it's interesting. I think Kiefer will like it because he's a BIA expert. But he's never gone against this, I don't think.
I just thought if we're going to play one killer, we should try the other one. And I was like, that's a beautiful possible counter, right? So that might be a really fun matchup. Okay, I'll go get that token.
So it did not play out as we all predicted. Gord had not seen the move. Did something different.
No, it's still there. So
The winning move, everybody, is to jump down 2 levels, blocking the blue worker on the right side of the board from moving up to help. So you block that by jumping down 2, and then you build on the right side of the board near the top. But on the very far right, you build a 3rd level there. So it's impossible to do.
And we can all sit here being smug. Everyone watching knows the move, even if they hadn't spotted it.
we could just end it here too.
Well, if he doesn't see it, then who knows? Maybe. Can't move down. Can't jump down.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's it.
So a different way than we.
I didn't see that either. I had forgotten to. So the fast way would have been to jump down with your worker,
Down
blocking that worker from going up and placing
Build next. Build
right there. Yeah. So that would have worked a few turns.
I decided I was eventually going to win in the corner. Was my plan.
Yeah.
Just keep him
Yeah.
that one away forever
Yeah.
until I win.
And that
So
that was how I had thought. Okay, you can eventually build in the corner, and he can't get there. And then I saw the move.
So the game was over pretty early on with that, just with that build, and that was a very natural move. That would have been my first knee-jerk reaction too, was to build exactly where you did, but that wrecked it for you.
I thought I was in trouble when you built that too.
Yeah, and then it realized, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
But it nearly was a big trouble. Yeah.
All right. So
Switch?
Or do you want to?
Yeah.
You want to try?
switch it around. Yeah. I
Okay.
think that was an interesting one. It. Other than that one move early on.
So this, if you think this is one of his favorites, this may or may not be a good matchup then.
Oh, I think this is absolutely this is.
I think he has actually played a game with Aeolus as well, so.
Okay. Well, I think that's good. But Kiefer will have no idea how this. I don't know which of those is stronger.
I think it's a fantastic match.
As a combo, I don't know. That's a fantastic match. You're right. Really, really good.
So we have a matchup
So,
ready
yeah,
for game three,
got a
assuming
matchup.
there is a game three.
That's
Assuming there's a game 3, yes. Well, we're going to be disappointed if there isn't then.
If there isn't, then we might just play a game with that matchup anyway. But yeah, that was an interesting one where Gord hadn't spotted the move, but then Kiefer moved up a level, forgetting that he then couldn't move down.
yeah.
Hades' power.
I find that's one of
Came
the
into play.
psychological things you can do in this game. If you have an active power, you can spend several turns not using it. Your
Yeah.
opponent has a tendency sometimes to forget that you have it.
And in that case, it wasn't used the entire game.
Yeah, and it bites you.
But then you use it at the correct moment, right? Like, you obviously can't rely on a strategy like that, but I've seen it happen. It's happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh
happened to me
crap,
too.
you have that power, right? I forgot.
It's basically neither of them played. Neither of the powers came directly into play until the very end.
That's interesting. Kiefer could have chosen to pop that up to the second level. Would that have helped? No, probably not. This is probably the right move.
This is kind of weird.
So they're off building themselves. Who's going to win in this situation?
The player who went first.
The player who went first. So at some point, Kiefer has to go back and deal with Medusa. So
And attacking Medusa from below is not an easy thing to do. Oh. Huh.
interesting. So
Huh.
yeah, we're off
So-
in a very different direction in this.
Medusa has surrendered the initiative.
Yes.
No. My turn would have been here. Here. It's your turn.
Huh. Yeah, that just got interesting.
Anything?
That's why I was trying to do this, and then I realized as soon as I got it too high,
One absolutely viable strategy in this game is for, at one point, for Hades to sacrifice one of his workers in order to make a very nice move.
I have seen that once before. Somebody sacrificed a worker against Medusa to win the game.
That happens actually a lot in playing against those, because again, you're talking psychology. You think if you can kill a worker, well, that's a huge advantage. So you don't think,
but it's a soft block. It's not really that I'm preventing you from doing it. I'm just making you not want to do it. You still are able to move there. Yeah, and because it doesn't happen at the end of the turn, your build still happens as well.
is this their second game or first game? Second game. Who's up?
Hades versus Medusa. Maybe I should actually go start cleaning up some of those other games, counting out the pieces to make sure they're all complete.
Yeah.
Orange covers it, right?
I'm sorry?
Joy Orange covers for the cards.
Card sleeves.
Card sleeves.
Oh, Fantasy Flight.
Fantasy Flight, sorry.
Yeah.
They're subbing. Bring it back to the right? Yes. Does anybody else need the promotional cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, already playing out quite differently to game one.
oh, interesting move. So, yeah, this Hades is back in this game. I was concerned whenever I saw Hades go over to the left side of the board, leaving Medusa to the right side of the board, because the problem is who went first? Well, Medusa went first, so Medusa would have won this game on the right side of the board if Medusa just kept over there, because Hades could not approach Medusa.
Right.
So it was a lost game from about the third move.
Yeah.
So this is a big comeback.
Yeah, it's now it's anybody's game.
No, it's a cafe. It's down here near Victoria Park Camping Station. Oh, okay.
They have the expansion here.
I was thinking of shoe balls.
He's got those little. He's got the plastic overlays down here.
I was thinking, yeah, I know, but I was going to. I'll go down after the thing.
So almost certainly in this situation, Medusa needs to be thinking of trying to stop Hades from getting on top of
I think that's
a
15.
huge island.
Yeah.
So that would mean blocking that middle row on the second level, making it a three-level tower, because you do not want Hades stepping up onto that middle row tower. Yeah, that would be a disaster.
Not really, but you never know when you get value from it.
Alright, so first of all,
That was the right build. I'm not sure about the direction. Anyway, it's fine. Needed to be done. There's only one correct build on the board, but the move is not obvious.
of course, the guy who needed to be in the game, Goldberg. Yeah, if that makes sense.
So this build was essential. Beginner players will typically make, in that situation, instead of trying to make their island larger, they'll try to try again to win in the corner by placing a third level. Kiefer made the exact right choice. It was the perfect move. In that situation, you do not try to win in the corner because it can easily be blocked. Instead, you try to gradually work to increase the size of your island, not to try to go for a fast win. Just methodically win. So very dangerous right now, that upper left corner.
Yeah, it's definitely something that, as a newer player, it's like your first kind of natural instinct. Oh, go build the third level.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wait, no. He just steps in, domes it off, and then you're stuck. So
again, this is a very smart move. We've seen Kiefer do that earlier in the tournament, stepping down in a brilliant move. That is a very, very strong move that he just made. By stepping down, he gives himself 3 opportunities to step up and blocks the ascent.
Sometimes they look over and laugh at us.
yeah, Audio Weasel, definitely recommended. And you may find copies floating around. There are still apparently some available in stores here in Calgary. We've been out for a while, so I don't know what stores are local to you, but you might get lucky and find a copy. If you don't, then you'll have to wait for the reprint later this year.
So again, I can't see a winning move in this game, but it's going to be happening here very soon. For experts, this is a lost game for sure. There's just too much potential in that upper left corner. But it's not clear.
Yeah.
Can't see exactly how to win. If I was I would try to bring up my lower left Medusa, my lower left character to help.
Yeah.
So. So I actually can't see where the 2 workers are.
So yeah, that move from God is actually not a good move. Building.
Okay. So it is the end of the game here.
Yeah.
And that's the end. Cool. Okay.
So it could have gone either way.
This is his copy. Oh, you're done?
That was an error.
That was very, very close. You were winning the game at the start, Gord, by staying, just ignoring Kiefer. You had the first move, so Kiefer needed to be on the defensive, and he played offensively at the start. If you had just gone straight up, all you need to go is go straight up, and you would have won in the right within like 5-6 moves. Then it just became interesting and very difficult.
I think
Kiefer's move, he made a number of nice moves, but the nicest one there was stepping down and giving himself blocking you and giving himself 3 opportunities to step up. So
it is a Roxley Games tablecloth. Someone's just asked.
Okay.
So yeah, it's got. So yeah, we have 2 new gods. I'm gonna let Gord explain.
I know you know Bia.
So they are playing Bia and Aeolus. So Bia has the ability that if she moves towards another character, directly towards another character, opponent, that opponent is destroyed. So see this. So what Paul is showing a situation. Paul, can you just show a dangerous situation there? Okay, that's a dangerous situation. Blue is Bia. Blue is Bia. So if blue moves right now, that is a killing move. Okay, you move directly towards, in a line towards an opponent, and that opponent is killed. Aeolus has the ability that Aeolus can, at the end of Aeolus's turn, Aeolus sets the wind direction, and no player, including Aeolus, can move into the wind until Aeolus's next turn, when again he can choose the wind direction.
I don't know. Let's do them random, maybe.
Yeah.
So this is again, Kiefer enjoys playing Bia. I know that he's played Bia a lot, but has never played Bia against Aeolus. So this is going to be very, very interesting.
Oh, and Gord got Bia.
Yeah. So this is going to be an interesting match. Two strong
good.
dogs. Take care.
And I'm going to let
Thank
Paul
you.
answer the Twitch chat.
The minion tablecloth. Well, it's sort of a Roxley sponsorship. We enjoy a really, we're very, very lucky. The Sentry Box has been being good to Roxley since before Roxley was Roxley. And so we try to do a lot of favors for them. They try to do a lot of favors for us. So we're not doing an awful lot of official sponsorship for this event, so to speak, but it's definitely an endorsement. I guess.
Sorry, Bia, the new rule is that Bia has to start on the perimeter.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And
those of you
Bia
watching at home-
places first, and then Kiefer.
So if we were in this case, I could.
Bia must place first
But on the phone.
on the perimeter.
Yeah.
So people at home who have Santorini already, you will not see that written in BIA's rules. That has
Correct.
been a change since that rule book was printed, and it will be reflected in future rule books.
Yes. Thank you, Paul. This was in response to a problem that was identified with Eros, and
Which
generally, Bia is pretty strong.
Kiefer, who identified it.
That's right. So, is it at the end of the move that Aeolus? Is it?
It's at the end of the turn that Aeolus
Then if
changes the direction of
I wasn't sure if the first turn that Aeolus gets to set wind direction.
At the end of their first turn, yes.
Could you identify wind direction, just point as well whenever
Whenever you change it.
So you cannot go into the wind direction, so that means you can't go against that, directly against the wind.
Oh, it's a little hard to see on the camera, eh?
Yeah, it's very hard to see. So
Actually, if you moved it closer to the camera, it'd probably be easier to see.
The camera like down.
Like, yeah, if you just keep it on that end of the board.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
you see that?
Oh, I can see it.
Oh, I can see it too. Good. Okay, got it.
The wind's blowing that way, so they cannot move diagonally top left, towards the top left.
That's right.
And that does affect both players.
Yes.
So if he's accidentally sets it against himself, and actually that happened in a previous match. He actually prevented himself from winning because the wind was blowing against that direction. Although he ended up winning anyway, it just delayed him.
So yeah, this is a Roxley sponsored event in terms of Paul is here, who works for Roxley. Gord is here, who is the designer of this game published by Roxley. And yes, this tablecloth is an official Roxley Games.
If you come see us at Gen Con, you will see that tablecloth.
So isn't that a kill? That is a kill.
Oh no!
It is a
Oh, no.
bad situation here for
Wow.
Aeolus.
This could be a very quick game
There's
three.
an ill wind blowing.
Ill wind, yeah. So you know how most times that a god goes second, they're on the defensive, and they need to follow where the other god is. That's not true of Aeolus, because Aeolus can, even at the other side of the board, has a lot of defensive potential. So Aeolus can go off by him or herself, even if they're playing second.
Yes, that power may not look particularly exciting, but it's actually very versatile.
Yeah, very good offensively, very good defensively.
Just don't
But now
forget.
Kiefer is going to be under the gun with only one worker. This is
Yeah.
going to be very, very hard for Kiefer to do anything.
Yeah, I like that move.
So B is doing the correct idea here. It's not to try to win quickly, to crowd Aeolus.
Patience.
Yeah, patience is a real advantage here, especially, you know, you've already inflicted a devastating wound. Good to just slowly
Can't move in that direction.
get an advantage and make it a significant advantage. So that's a perfect move. So don't worry about this, just get positioned, get your worker ready. Yeah, what is...
Has he just surrendered?
No,
No.
he wouldn't do that.
Wind stayed the same.
Oh, he's stuck. Oh no, there's a way out of that. There's a way out of that.
Oh yeah, no, he's
Lots of possibilities here.
just
So,
pointing out that he cannot be killed in this position because of the wind.
Well, no, Bia can kill up on a level 2, right?
But the wind is preventing a move in
Oh,
that
the
direction.
wind is preventing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kill.
Thank you. Remember how I was talking earlier about forgetting your opponent's power?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one.
So this is Gord's first day playing Santorini, is that right, Gord? First day playing.
I've played Gord at a lot of different games, and even when it's his first time playing, he's
Dangerous.
Yes.
Oh, so once he gets experience, you can clobber him and just, you know. The trick is for you to never play the same game more than 10 times.
Yeah, so that was a perfect move that Gord made the last game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Forced him to
Yeah.
move down.
Forced him to move down. Exactly. So that was a fantastic move by Gord, that last one.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Kiefer is Aeolus is deep trouble here. But deep strategic trouble. I can't see a tactical win yet.
Yeah.
So it's more just strategically.
It's just an overwhelming sense of dread as opposed to a specific threat.
But if there is a god, you know, Aeolus is not. Aeolus still has total control of her power, of his power.
If you're fighting from an
So-
underdog position, Aeolus
No,
isn't a bad choice.
It's not a bad choice, but it's desperate. But you know, if two experts were playing this, the game would be over. But it's still it's
But
still,
since these guys aren't experts,
Yeah, that wind power is still.
oh, it's still formidable.
Yeah.
Formidable. Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking the obvious move is to step up onto that one, but you can't go in that direction.
Right. So Kiefer goes for a
Change the wind.
So the quick win idea is not going to work. So it's just going to decrease Kiefer's little island of control, leaving a big island under the control of Bia. So it's a dangerous game, and it's not going to work.
You couldn't move in that direction, could you? Yeah. Wind preventing himself.
The wind. Against the wind. What am I doing here?
So I would have preferred to see Kiefer step one more out into the central column there. Still in the second row, central column. It would have maybe given him more opportunities to move up on Via's stack of 4.
Yeah.
Via certainly has the better island, and this is this is a problem. So Via, Kiefer will have to use his ability to stop.
Yep.
Stops it. But now
Just about to win, but no, the wind changes.
Yeah, it's very bad here. So if you are Via right now, you're feeling very confident. You're trying to make your island bigger. Maybe you're trying to actually move over to Kiefer's island as well. So you kind of try to have 2 threats going on opposite ends of the board. Kiefer's kind of in no man's land in the middle. He had to make some move, so gold is making very. Yeah, this is exactly right. Making the island bigger. And even to build that on one row lower down would have a lot of benefit. Right, yeah. Oh, but I understand that the reason Kiefer can't jump in there into that gap. So that was a really shrewd move of board actually, because the wind direction did not allow Kiefer to step up.
Yeah.
And
life is very difficult for Kiefer.
Deadly move by Kiefer. So he could have lost his life there. So that could have been a lost game right there, because Via could have used the ability to kill Kiefer's last piece. Whee! Kiefer's on the first level. But you can see this is a short-lived problem. That's the end of the game.
There you go.
Boom.
There's really nothing to be done after that early error losing the worker.
Yeah. Very difficult after losing that first worker. Great.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, people in the virtual world.
So, yeah, that was an interesting couple of gods. I haven't personally seen either of those before, so deadly trying to make sure not only that you're keeping position on the board, but that you're not going to be losing one of your workers.
This is Kiefer's favorite god to play against me.
Yeah.
Well, Hecate would be your favorite. Bia would be your second favorite. Yeah.
So yeah, that was really
great.
good. I like that. So yeah, good 10-person tournament.
Yeah. Congratulations, Gord. First day playing. Wow.
Took down the mighty Kiefer.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, this game. If you do get a chance to pick it up, you should. If everywhere is sold out near you, you should pick it up once they
Hey,
reprint
Salvador.
it.
I recognize you from the Kickstarter. Thanks for watching. Thanks everybody for watching.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's it's been a good, interesting seeing all the gods played, and then obviously if you caught earlier on, Gord was going through a bunch of the god cards, explaining some of the powers and some of his favorites. And if you also missed it earlier, tune in 2 weeks. We have another Roxley Games game to show you, which is not published yet. But we'll be playing Guerrilla Marketing in 2 weeks. I hope at some point that we can do another Santorini tournament, because that was a lot of fun. I've enjoyed. I like watching this game. I like playing it, but I also like watching it because just seeing all the interactions and the different god powers is very cool. And you're working on some more god powers.
Oh yeah, we have an expansion on the go as we speak right now. A number of well, we have an amazing rules team who've just, they're all in the credits for the rule book there. And some of these guys are just so brilliant. And we've got a bunch of god powers we've developed, and they've developed, and some community members have sent us that are in heavy playtesting right now for a future expansion, which we don't really have any details we can share about yet, but it's on the go.
So, currently 57 god and hero powers. That's not enough. There's got to be more cool god powers out there to get even more crazy interactions.
The stack's only an inch tall. We want at least double it.
So, I don't know how long you could play this game and never play the same combination, but it would be a very, very, very long time, I think.
So that guy I shouted out to, he's actually about to run his own Santorini tournament.
Oh, nice.
So maybe you picked some stuff up from us here today, Kevin, hopefully,
Yeah, like I said, we were doing a casual one. I think we wanted to try and make sure new players were not going to be deterred from joining in. And it's that kind of game. Gord won the tournament, and he had never played before, so experience helps, I think. But if you're a natural kind of game player, then you can pick it up pretty quickly. So that was very good. I want to say thank you to Gord Hamilton, designer of Santorini, and Paul Saxberg from
Thanks
Roxley
so much
Games,
for having us. It's always a pleasure.
For coming out and providing the commentary and all the talk about all the gods and everything.
This is great fun. I loved it.
So thanks to you guys for watching out there. And next week, I actually can't remember what we have planned for next week, but it's something
cool.
that Chris arranged. And then in 2 weeks' time, more Roxley Game stuff. So keep tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Great.
Thanks.
Take care.